The world is changed. I feel it in the water. I feel it in the earth. I smell it in the air. Much that was lost, for none now live who remember it. It began with the forging of the great rings. 3 were given to the elves, immortal, wisest, and fairest of all beings. 7 to the dwarf lords, great miners and craftsmen of the mountain halls. And 9 rings were gifted to the race of men who above all else desire power. For within these rings was bound the strength and the will to govern each race. But they were all of them deceived, for another ring was made. Deep in the land of Mordor, in the fires of Mount Doom, the Dark Lord Sauron forged a master ring, and into this ring he poured his cruelty, his malice, his will to dominate all life. One ring to rule them all. One by one, the free lands of Middle-earth fell to the power of the ring. But there were some who resisted. A alliance of men and elves marched against the armies of Mordor, and on the very slopes of Mount Doom they fought for the freedom of Middle-earth. Victory was near, but the power of the ring could not be undone. It was in this moment, when all hope had faded, that Isildur, son of the king, took up his father's sword. Sauron, enemy of the free peoples of Middle-earth, was defeated. The ring passed to Isildur, who had this one chance to destroy evil forever. But the hearts of men are easily corrupted, and the ring of power has a will of its own. It betrayed Isildur to his death. And some things that should not have been forgotten were lost. History became legend. Legend became myth. And for 2,500 years, the ring passed out all of knowledge, until, when chance came, it ensnared another barrier. It came to the creature Gollum, who took it deep into the tunnels of the Misty Mountains, and there it consumed him. The ring gave to Gollum unnatural long life. For 500 years it poisoned his mind, and in the gloom of Gollum's cave it waited. Darkness crept into the forest of the world. Rumors grew of a shadow in the east, whispers of a nameless fear, and the ring of power perceived its time had come. It abandoned Gollum, but then something happened that the ring did not intend. It was picked up by the most unlikely creature imaginable, a hobbit, Bilbo Baggins of the Shire. For the time soon come when hobbits will shape the fortunes of all. That was good.
Good evening, UN Spacey Wolf Squadron. This is your Wolf Commander Wolf 10. I'm your werewolf. And please give a round of applause for our lovely lady Violet Plus Size for giving us that beautiful monologue. Bravo, 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 bravo.
Thank you.
Whew,
You all.
go ahead, Leia. Go ahead,
No,
go
I was
ahead.
just going to say thank you. You're all very kind.
That's right, guys. It's been a long time announced and a long time waiting. We are definitely doing this year, and today we are going to cover Peter Jackson's Lord of the Rings trilogy, from the Fellowship to the naming of the two towers to the King who will be bestowed upon us to bring us hope, joy, and peace for all time. We are talking about the one true golden standard of how you do a book to movie adaptation. The one thing that set the standard for anybody who attempts to adapt a book to a movie. The very trilogy that started all to make it happen. A trilogy, or at least a series, that was deemed almost unadaptable, and yet one man with his whole team, his whole filming team, made that possible. Yes, that's right, friends. We are tackling the the Trinity, the Holy Trinity of Lord of the Rings. So I'm here with, once again, the Lele of LA plus size, who has been the one that finally we're actually going to talk about something that's more of her speed than the manga stays in the anime spotlights. Go on, take it away, Leia.
Good evening, everyone. This is Leia, plus size, your lovely lady of valor, and welcome to our discussion to what I think is one of the greatest motion picture trilogies ever to be on film and adapted, as Wolf said in his opening, from a novel. This is the true Lord of the Rings, no rings of power, so get that out of your head. We're going to discuss this classic film that has stood the test of time. I'm glad you all could join us, and I hope you very much enjoy the show.
Another avid reader of books and our Hound of the South, Donick Powell.
Good evening, everybody, and thank you for joining us in tonight's live stream as we're going over the Lord of the Rings trilogy. As Wolf earlier mentioned earlier, this is the gold standard of how to properly adapt a book series from a classic author. In this case, J.R.R. Tolkien's Legendarium. And if there are anything else that you would like to discuss about Lord of the Rings, how you got into the series, or did you read the books before watching the movie? Feel free to put them down in the comment section.
The humblest of writers, and who was also an avid reader as herself, Humble Marty.
Hi, I'm Martha. I like fantasy.
You're not supposed to say your real name.
Well, I'm Humble Marty.
Her name is not Martha. Don't tell Superman or Batman. Please don't kill Martha. Another avid reader, such as these three themselves, who is also our legit Warrior of Light, Final Fantasy Fan 12.
Greetings, YouTube viewers and fellow Final Fantasy fans. This is Final Fantasy Fan on 12, and welcome back to another live stream of the UN Spacey Wolf Squadron. And today, we are tackling the most awesome trilogy of movies ever made, and the best adaptations of a book ever made with such a huge cast of characters and a legendary music. We are covering Peter Jackson's Lord of the Rings trilogy. This is gonna be awesome.
So to get the order of operations right, we're gonna start with how we came to how we got our start with the series itself, how we got into to this trilogy ourselves, and we're gonna start with the Fellowship all the way down to the Return. Is that a good setup?
Yes, I'm for it.
Hmm?
Mhm.
So let's start with Humble first. How did you get into Peter Jackson's Lord of the Rings?
Let's see. Video. In fact, I got into the Lord of the Rings stuff when my family decided to um, show me the original Hobbit, the animated version. And the Lord of the Rings series, it was one that a friend of mine was an avid fan of, so she'd play that on loop when I went to her house. She was like 1 year older than me.
That's unique. So you started with the Hobbit movie from Wrecking Bass.
Mm-hmm.
That's interesting. Let's move on to Final Fantasy fan.
I actually started with this thanks to these movies when they were actually coming out because they were marketed all over the place because these movies were so awesome. It was all over the place. Everyone loved those movies. And my parents actually watched I only know about this because my parents actually watched Return of the King. Well, they were watching the whole trilogy because it was on TV. And yet they were just waiting for Return of the King to end because of it's like, oh my god, end. And when it finally ended, they were like, oh thank god. But I then started to get into these films because I got the DVD, the complete set of the theatrical releases of these three films, as well as the Hobbit trilogy. Because thanks to Professor Geek and Sound Engraver, and I also got the original books at college, the Lord of the Rings trilogy, the Hobbit, and yes, the Silmarillion.
Dom, how did you get into the Lord of the Rings?
Well, I got into this series through the animated movie by Ralph Bakshi when I was hanging out at a friend of the family's. Family's was essentially a second grandmother to me. And afterwards, I started reading the books until eventually started watching the movies as they were coming out in theaters.
Leia, how did you get into them?
Well, I started with the books when I was a child, and I was a big fan of the books. I loved to read them. And then I saw the Rake and Bass Hobbit, and actually there was a Lord of the Rings animated motion picture that came out, and I enjoyed that just as well. So I've been a fan of these books for a long time, and was announced that finally, these books were going to come to the big screen. I was overjoyed with excitement. I could not wait till it came out. And when I saw that picture of the fellowship, a poster, excuse me, when the final poster was revealed of all the characters, I was just completely over the moon. I fell in love with these characters. They are so beloved. And unlike everybody else, I sat my tail in that seat in that theater from the opening credits to the very tail end. That how moved I was, and that includes Lord of Return of the King. Yes, I sat there through all of the final credits to the end because I knew that this was an experience that I may not ever see again. So I wanted to drink in every bit of it. Yeah, I was the last person out the theater, but I didn't care. I loved it so much.
Yeah. So I got my start with the Ralph Bakshi anime first, and since then everything was silent from there on. But what year was the first movie released?
2001.
Mm-hmm.
So around 2001, which was an interesting time indeed. I forgot what movie we went out. I think it was X Men that we went to see that night for the first time. And cue my shock when I first saw the first trailer to the Fellowship. I was like, "Oh my goodness!" Because it was as I was watching that trailer, it was everything was clicking because I was remembering the Ralph Bakshi anime. I was like, "Oh my goodness, they're making a Lord of the Rings movie!" Yes, I was so excited, and at that time, we went in and saw the first movie in theaters. And since then, much like with with Star Wars, in the case of Star Wars, the prequel trilogy, I only saw two of the movies in theaters. In the case of Lord of the Rings, unfortunately, I only saw the Fellowship in the theater. But what was interesting was after I seen the first movie and was attending high school, that's where I started reading the books. And the only reason I was reading the books for two fronts. One was for a book report for English class, and two because I was a fan already, so I was into it. Now I wasn't of the mind of the third movie's ending was that long because I barely even noticed it at that much at all. It just I was just rolling through the whole ending like it was nothing, like just really just experiencing everybody getting their happy ending little by little. And the only and it was only by then after I've watched the Wrecking Bass Return of the King was those endings, those multiple endings as like people like to call it, those were uh those were already baked and ingrained into my head. So I didn't even get I wasn't really that bothered by the endings of Return of the King by that point. So it was natural, you know?
Hmm.
So we'll now start with the first movie. What was y'all experience? How did y'all first experience the first movie? Let's start with let's go with Dom. Dom, that's you. Dom.
Hold on,
Don't
hold on. I was having dinner.
Yes, let him
But
eat.
anyway, two words: blown away. I was completely blown away by what I was experiencing with the first movie because it was like everything that I was like picture like from like reading the book and the book all coming to life. Well, even though the original animated movie with Ralph Bakshi like it did that, but the movie we somehow no not somehow it succeeded. Did how everything like turned out the way it is, including the interaction between the characters as well as the different fights that was going on until it led up to the climax.
go ahead, Leia.
Blew me out the water or blew me out the theater. It was beyond my expectations. Everything I imagined it would be came to life on screen. First of all, the cast, everybody was well cast in this movie. This was a very well casted film, particularly Liv Tyler. I wasn't that blown away from her as an actress. I don't know if she could pull it off, but she did pull it off. And just everything about the way the movie looked, from the costumes to the music. I like the fact that it was, usually I don't like music that was movies that are 3 hours, but this one didn't feel like it at all. I was so sucked into this film. I did not even realize I was there for 3 hours. It sucked me in so strongly. And like I said, costumes, the cast, everybody is well cast in this picture, and how they focused on bringing the characters to life. Peter Jackson focusing on not his own interpretations, but Tolkien interpretation. It just absolutely blew me out the water. But if I have to mention everybody was cast, but I say the star of this thing to me was Viggo Mortensen. Oh, Viggo Mortensen just knocked me out as Aragorn. He was that, and we used to say back in the day, all that in a bag of chips. He was beyond expectations of what Aragorn was supposed to be, and just absolutely blown out the water. Talk about making a fantasy world so real. And that's the kind of movies that I like. I like being sucked into a world that you that's when it's over, you're like, oh wow, I was here for 3 hours, but I was never bored. I never looked at my watch. I was completely locked into it, from the speech to the costumes, to the pacing, the way this is scored, everything about it just blew me out of the water.
You keep mentioning 3 hours. I don't think the theatrical release was 3 hours.
It's almost 3 hours. It's
Yeah,
2 hours and 58 minutes.
yeah,
But
but
she
it's
is, but that doesn't make her wrong either, because it did not feel that way at all.
mm-mm, mm-mm. I didn't feel that 1 minute. No, I was enjoying myself. It was like after I watched it, I was like, wow, that was like a breath of fresh air. Like I just had a cool glass of water, because at that time I was still working in drama school, and it was so good to just step into this world. But I never felt I was sitting there that long. I never felt it. Not 1 minute did I feel like I was there that long. I enjoyed every minute of it. Didn't bore me one bit.
Now, now besides Vigo, can we also mention, excuse me, Sir Ian McKellen, as well as Frodo Baggins himself. Those three characters, like they were the glue to the movie.
Mm-hmm.
They were the glue to the movie as much as they were in the source material.
Oh, I definitely agree. Frodo Baggins, perfectly cast.
Yeah. Elijah
Perfectly,
Wood as Frodo
yes,
Baggins.
thank you.
Hmm.
Elijah Wood was perfectly
And,
cast.
and to this day, like this guy is ageless, much like Pharrell Williams.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, very true.
Oh, have you
Elijah,
seen the pictures of him? He hardly aged a day.
I saw him recently at an event.
He hasn't changed much. Sean Astin, not much either.
Mm-mm,
No,
mm-mm.
those guys are ageless.
Yeah, they're the ageless eternal. And also the casting of Legolas as well.
Orlando Bloom.
Orlando Bloom, yes,
Hmm.
being cast, because he the kudos to the hair and makeup, because that's a token elf. That is the way I picture a token elf looking, and they got his look so right. And
Yeah, they got all
yeah,
the elves downright perfect in there. They got
Hmm.
all the races downright perfect in this.
yes, yeah,
Yeah,
absolutely. I
and,
totally
and
agree.
again, and again, like Sir Ian McKellen, perfect casting as Gandalf.
Oh,
Hmm.
yeah, I couldn't think of anybody else in that role but Ian McKellen. Absolutely, you're right about
Christopher
that.
Christopher Lee as Saruman the Proud.
Ooh,
Oh.
yes,
Okay, guys, come on. You gotta love that fight between the two wizards, huh? You
Hmm.
gotta still dig
I
that.
did.
I dig that. Yeah, I thought that was so cool. Great effect. And to know that Ian did that stunt himself, I give him
It's the
kudos for his
one
age.
fight. It was the one fight that made me audibly go, no,
No, meaning you didn't like it?
no, as in no. I wanted Gandalf to get out of there and win.
Yeah.
I was young at the time, so it's
Mhm.
like th- you guys gotta really key on this. I went to this movie, the Fellowship. I mean, I went to that movie. I went to that movie with the backsheet animated as a frame of reference, and we already know how that conversation went down in the backsheet animated.
Mhm.
There was no fight. There was talks, and he was trapped,
Mhm.
and that was it. So to see them go into a sort of wizards duel like that, and seeing Gandalf getting bodied for the majority of the fight until he finally retaliated and, you know, excuse me, knocked him back finally, and he was about ready to get another win in, and Saruman overpowered. I was like, no,
That's okay.
I
That's
No,
should
the
have
what,
rea-
went.
what that was my reaction to when I was watching the movie.
I was like taking in the Matrix when Morpheus got caught. No,
Hmm.
that was literally
Every
that was literally my reaction, just mirroring Tank's reaction in the Matrix when, cause that's how I felt like Gandalf was Morpheus getting taken away.
That's the
everybody
power
has
of storytelling to you. Like once you're invested by the world as well as the characters, like you want to see them succeed.
Everybody had their reaction. I had the same reaction too. I want to get off to get back out of there and go warn Frodo of what is to come. But Sauron, with the, I think he was aided with the help of the he was now under the spell of Sauron. So it,
Now, before we go any further, we talk about the humans and the elves, but we cannot forget the dwarves
yeah,
Yes.
yes, I was about to bring up the dwarfs and the
and the
hobbits.
hobbits.
Yes, yeah.
The dwarves and the hobbits, like
Uh,
those guys like played a role as well in the defeat of Sauron.
Oh yes, definitely. The
mhm.
point, yeah, the absolutely, particularly the hobbits and Frodo being the ring bearer and being the one. And I hope I'm
Mhm.
not jumping ahead, but to the Council of Elrond in that beautiful, well orchestrated and that set design of Rivendell. Oh my God, I'll get it later. But when everybody's arguing with
Yes.
themselves, yes, and everybody's arguing with themselves, and he stands up and says, "I will take it. I will be the one to go and do this. I will leave the comfort of the Shire, and I will go do this for the greater good." Tells you a lot about Frodo. So a lot of the movie rests on his. This trilogy rests on his success and taking on this momentous task of destroying this ring. The others are there to aid him so that he can succeed.
Yeah,
This
I
this
remember like in the opening, like we also like had get the we also introduced to into Bilbo Baggins. Yes, however, like we don't see his side of the story until years later, like with the Hobbit
Mhm.
movies,
Yeah.
as
In
well
this
as well as like
trilogy, in
as
this
well as in the
trilogy,
books because yeah, it's a prequel to Lord of the Rings.
yeah, which in this trilogy, this movie trilogy, he is played by Ian Holm.
Yeah, the wonderful Ian Holmes, the late
Hmm.
great Ian Holmes.
I am old
Good.
Gandalf. I know I don't look it, but I begin to feel it in my heart. I feel thin, sort of stretched like butter scraped over too much bread. I need a holiday, a very long holiday. I don't expect I shall return. In fact, I mean not to.
I remember that scene. Yes, that's at the beginning. Yeah,
Me too.
yeah, the hobbits and every single land that we
You're late,
visited.
Master Baggins. A wizard is never late. He arrives precisely as he is needed.
And then when we're at the celebration for Bilbo's birthday, we meet Miriam and Pippin. Pippin, excuse me. Miriam, Pippin. We meet those.
Figuratively tapping
That's
humble.
Hmm.
it.
Just want to make sure you're awake.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'm awake.
So this is as
We're
we're
looking at
taking a.
stills right now, so we, the audience can't really tell whether or not she's, you know.
Oh, that's the shot I talked about. That
Mhm.
fantastic Council of Elrond. Who does not? Ah, what a great
The
scene.
forming of the Fellowship.
Oh yeah.
Yep. A great big team
Strange
of heroes.
strangers from distant lands, friends of old, you have been summoned here to answer to the threat of Mordor. Middle Earth stands upon the brink of destruction. None can escape it. You will unite or you will fall. Each race is bound to this fate, this one doom. Bring forth the ring, Frodo. So it is true. In a dream I saw the eastern sky grow dark, but in the west a pale light lingering. A voice was crying, the doom is near at hand. Isildur's bane is found. Isildur's bane. Boromir! You
Run.
know, you speak about Viggo Mortensen. My goodness, I don't mean to cut you off, Lay, but
Go
Viggo
ahead.
Mortensen playing Aragorn. Jesus Christ, man, Aragorn was. Oh man, he was my favorite ever since the Bakshi animated with that broken blade sword in his hand. I was like, man, this dude is beast. And he's even,
uh,
Oh yeah, he is a one tough mother.
and when he showed up in the fellowship, I was like, oh my goodness, my favorite character done showed up, and I'm happy even more, even more. Cause I know he about to fuck some shit up. and fuck some shit up he did throughout this
He
whole
did.
movie.
Oh yes,
Well,
he did absolutely. When Frodo is struck by the blade of the Nazgul, and you hear him fly in there, and he just took them Nazguls out without even without even blinking, with
Hmm.
no
And especially that
fear.
scene where he throws that torch at one in the face.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
Motherfucker just mosey on behind him, turn around.
That was
Oh,
such a badass moment.
can
That's
we stop to
true.
mhm.
talk about the Nazgul?
Oh
Can we
yeah,
Oh,
the
well,
please
ring
take a
yeah.
race.
pause? Oh,
Yes.
Oh, dude, like they are
Oh,
they are the stuff of people's nightmares, and to see
Absolutely.
see them be brought to life like from the pages of the books and
to
into the
refresh
movie.
Humble's memory, it's the cloak figures, the
Yeah,
cloak riders.
yeah. They were the former. There were nine of them because they were the former
yes.
nine kings who had the nine rings of power that Sauron made.
Are you familiar with them?
Oh yeah, I remember those guys.
Cool.
But anyway, see them be brought to life like from the pages and into the screen. Really, it and I remember like remember they scare oh they scared the heck out of me and also other members of the audience like whoa
Shut
these
up.
guys
Oh, good.
these guys need to be careful.
And I love
See,
that. And I love
you
that.
see,
Go
it's
ahead,
like
Dom.
The
when you
halfling
hear the
shields.
whispers like you feel not just horror but also terror as you are
Yes,
there at that moment with the fellowship. It keeps you on the edge of your seat.
Give
hmm
up the halfling shields.
yeah.
If you
The
want
ring,
them, come
even the
and
ring,
claim
is
them.
always constantly whispering when it's recalling to a significant to someone. Commonly Frodo, but even with
Yes.
Aragorn once too. By the end of Fellowship,
Yeah, and we
Yeah.
we also did get hints of the rings influence with well actually correct me if I'm wrong. We did see sequences of the rings of influence like when Frodo was given the ring from Bilbo.
Yep.
mm,
Oh, that scene where Bilbo goes, ha! Everybody in that theater, I was in
When
jump like
Bilbo
Rah!
went
yeah.
precious mode.
Yes.
yeah,
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah,
Oh,
which also serves which also gives you like an even more give more hints of the events that happened like in the Hobbit, which again like what wasn't turned into into a movie trilogy until years later. So
mm-hmm,
previously Bilbo he was able to resist the influence of the One Ring until eventually when Fellowship happened. I mean it started to worm its way into like Bilbo's being.
yeah,
mm-hmm,
the longer he had it, for a while he could resist it, but the longer he hung on to it, the more it was just very slowly starting to take over. Very slowly, it was starting because
We
you noticed it was hard for him to part with it.
I
Yeah,
don't
it
know
well,
was
half
starting
of
yeah,
you
to.
it
half
does.
as well as I should like, and I like less than half of you half as well as you deserve. Go
Yeah,
ahead, Humble.
but in the beginning of the movie, it just comes to show like that his willpower was not only being put to the test, but also wavering.
Is your name
Yes.
Humble?
Oh
Oh,
God.
his willpower was melting faster than a kid on a diet sitting in front of a cake.
Oh wow, that that's an image.
Mm-hmm. That's
Or
it.
not really. I was actually thinking that his willpower was solely only melting. Well, not melting, but close to being completely melted like a candle.
I
He,
think you
he
should leave the ring behind, Bilbo. Is that so hard? Well, no. And yes, now it comes to it, I don't feel like parting with it. It's mine. I found it. It came to me. There's no need to get angry. Well, if I'm angry, it's your fault. It's my own. My precious. Precious. It's been called that before, but not by you. Or what business is it yours what I do with my own things? I think you've had that ring quite long enough. You want it for yourself. Bilbo Baggins! Do not take me for some conjurer of cheap tricks. I'm not trying to rob you. trying to help you.
That's
I
a classic.
I remember the part where Gandalf hit his head was a blooper they kept in the film.
Oh, nice.
Oh
Oh
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah,
they.
yeah.
Funnily enough, they brought that back in The Hobbit,
That
and then
and
that time he caught it. He caught it that time, but put the Lord of the Rings. He forgot about it.
Hmm.
Continuity
Yeah.
there,
Mhm.
It's
or
fun.
this
Wait, I
old
guess it's
man.
because of
What?
production, because he already learned from that mistake. Wait, oh, we're doing a prequel to that. Oh, I already learned my mistake there. But wait, this is a prequel. And then he already falls for that again.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it's fun. I mean,
We'll get into
that
that.
movie Tom
We'll get
Fellowship, like
there.
it's still funny, but also sad at the same time because you see like how close of a brotherly relationship like those two have like in their friendship.
Bilbo, the ring is still in your pocket. Yes. He just finally drops it. I was like, oh, finally.
But it was hard for him to part from it because even when they were in Rivendell and he was preparing Frodo for his task, you could see, he kept asking, oh, my ring, there's the ring. Could I just hold it? Let me just hold it one more time. And then that's when, so he was kind of still under its spell, even
Hmm.
He was
after
at,
he couldn't let it go. It still had him under his spell. But also that was supposed to show what could become of Frodo if he hangs on it so long, which is why Gandalf sent Sam to go with him because he knew he's going to need. Gandalf knew that Frodo is going to need that extra help the longer he keeps that ring.
yeah, because after what it seemed like Bilbo's like actions in holding the ring, he was essentially exhibiting the behaviors of an addict.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Confound it all,
Yes.
Samwise Gamgee! Have you been eavesdropping? I ain't been dropping no eaves, sir, honest. I'm just cutting the grass under the window there if you follow me. And a little late for trimming the verge, don't you think? I heard raised voices. What did you hear? Speak! Nothing important, that is. I heard a good deal about a ring, a Dark Lord, and something about the end of the world, but please, Miss Gandalf, sir, don't hurt me. Don't turn me into anything unnatural.
Ah, yes. Going by this image now. Hugo Weaving as
Hmm.
Elrond.
Oh God, he was on
Again,
a roll.
another example of perfect casting.
Yes, I thought that was absolute cast. I totally agree. He was on a roll. Just what a good actor. He goes from being, the agent, the bad guy in the Matrix, to
Only to
now.
be a
Oh
hero
yeah, that's right.
in
He was
this
Agent
one.
Smith. That's why he looks so
Yes,
familiar.
Yeah.
yeah. That's what
Oh, he's so
audiences said.
young.
Yeah, everybody said that's the guy from the Matrix. That's what everybody
Yeah,
in the
same
place was
here.
saying. Yeah.
Me and my brother
I
was
mean, it
always
was,
whispering Agent Smith.
Mm-hmm.
yeah. Only this time was Smith is a hero in this one and not a villain.
Yes,
Mm-hmm.
but he's well
Tomorrow all
cast.
lives.
He's
Except for
well cast.
Rivendell.
Yeah, he's well cast though, and also I love the costume for the elves in this thing. You
Man, looks
gotta
good with
give
long hair.
credit. Yeah, the even their warrior for battle, the costumes are
Come on,
brilliant.
Leia.
What?
Admit it. You had a
What?
thing for Elrond.
Well, my let me
You
stop.
like them old, didn't you? You love them old, didn't you?
My boy was
Come
I was
on,
thinking she
well,
was like
Aragorn.
having
really?
a thing for
My
My
Aragorn,
boy,
but
entire
my boy
I
was
think
Aragorn. Go ahead,
Go
Marty.
on, humble.
um either my junior high or my high school, the everyone's favorite sweetheart ended up being Legolas.
Of
Yeah,
No, it
that's
course.
was
what.
in
who
high
couldn't
Yeah.
school
blame them?
Of
because
course.
It's
because
Orlando
when I
Bloom.
went to a
You can't
friend's
blame
birthday
them.
party, the first thing she showed was her little altar that of a sketch of Legolas, half naked in a bath, mind you, in her closet.
Wow.
I mean, it's Orlando Bloom. Can you blame them?
I can't blame
I
them.
can.
Aragorn, and Legolas, I gotta admit, were my two favorites.
Stupid, sexy Legolas.
And, dude, at least like like at least like have fictional man to fawn over, unlike the other pretty boys from Twilight.
Uh huh.
Yeah.
I'm sur- I'm not even gonna be shocked either that everyone else is gonna be fawning over his dad Thranduil from The Hobbit.
I
They
did
Mhm.
like
already are.
Thranduil.
They
I
already
did.
are.
However, look,
Yes.
aside from the beefcake from the Lord of the Rings trilogy, we also like had some like female characters that the guys were fawning over as well.
Yes,
Oh, I
one
was.
such.
Oh, y'all can have your Arwen. I was all about that Galadriel.
Yes, I was just about to bring that up. Kate
She
Blanchett
tall,
as
man.
perfect casting for Galadriel. Kate
She
Blanchett.
tall, man.
Yeah, yeah. I will admit that that besides like Hot Girl and Wonder Woman, and as well as Kimberly Hart from Power Rangers, like Galadriel, Kate Blanchett, she not only
She
did the characters
tall,
justice, but
man.
also we get it.
We
Yeah.
get
She
it.
not only she not only did the character justice, but also she was like young boys' crushes, and like I
This
admit to
broad towered over even Boromir. She
I
tall, man.
let me finish.
Yeah.
All the elves
Please.
are taller.
They're supposed to
But
be
she
seven.
tall.
In the book, they're over 7 feet.
Come
Arwen
on.
wasn't that
It's
tall.
established in the books that they're tall. But anyway,
Arwen
before you
wasn't that
kept
tall. She was tall. That's
Oh
where I
God.
discovered my tall mommy fetish.
before you kept before you kept on interrupting me, glad I was actually I did like other boys. I had a liking towards Galadriel.
Me
Oh,
too,
that,
cause
Finally,
she was
finally,
tall.
finally, I could get it out there before you kept on interrupting me.
In fact, the elves are light on their feet because if you actually looked at the when you see Legolas and the other Fellowship at the Snowy Mountains, Legolas was on the top of the snow with feet because the elves are light on their feet.
That was
yes,
actually in
Hmm.
the books, by the way.
they can
Yeah.
Oh
walk on
yeah, very
snow.
much.
Yes, they can walk on snow. It's a beautiful shot of her here. And I agree. She was perfectly cast as Galadriel. She embodied Galadriel. Again, another actor bringing the image to life of who she's supposed to be. She was so perfectly cast in this role. So I agree with all of you. No complaints there. They got the right actress to portray her. Again, the costume, everything. I wanted a costume like Galadriel to wear. And I think in the novel they were described as 7 feet tall. They are supposed to
Yeah.
be tall. And she just embodied all the ethereal, almost magnificence of
Mystique.
like she's a spiritual guide of some kind
Yes.
that she's supposed to be. And this is the scene of Galadriel's mirror. Just yeah, because you're not the only one, Wolf and in the movie and in the book. Gimli, who hated elves, fell hell over heels in love with her when he saw her.
Yep.
Yeah, he did.
That was in the extended cut because that scene was never
Yes.
shown in the theatrical release of the movie.
Right, and I
Until
do have.
until once again the theatrical cut where we actually do see it.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah, and I do have that copy, by the way. I have every copy in the book. Imagine, but I'm glad that you see that in the extended scene that he even in the film, if you look at how he looks at her when she ascends from the stairs, even in the theatrical cut, you can see that he is blown over by how beautiful she is. Because in the theatrical
We
cut, we
get
all
all
know.
the
He was
theatrical
he was fawning over her.
Cause she
Yeah.
was
Yeah,
tall.
yeah.
We get it.
Yeah.
Why do you keep bringing it up?
Because she towered over all them men, and they were melting,
Because that's all the
melting
elves.
at her
They are tall.
magnificence.
But that's all.
My
But,
goodness.
but that's all
Even
the elves. Like
even Bor
they are
even
supernaturally
Boromir was
beautiful.
he was about to shatter. That man was about to shatter at her presence. You saw he look away from her. Goodness gracious, man! You couldn't resist that elf pussy if you even tried, Boromir.
Dude, I like that Galadriel as like a guardian angel.
Yes.
And she's a
Um,
teacher. We can be hot for teacher. Ain't no shame in that. Don't you judge me.
Control yourself, Wolf.
goodness
I can't.
gracious,
The
great
wolf is
balls of
coming out.
horny.
Oh, okay. Excuse me. Excuse me, everyone. I'm gonna get the hose, and we'll keep it on my side just in case.
Uh, don't worry, I'll go get my sword. Be right back.
Speaking of love,
Oh, I loved their love story in the film Arwen and Aragorn. Yes, I did. I
One of the best romances in all of fiction.
damn
totally
right.
agree with you
This
there,
is
Doc.
this
You
is
are never going to see a romance like this ever in ever.
You're not going to see a wonderful love story. Again, I wasn't sure Liv Tyler
Not
could
even,
pull
let
it
alone
off.
a romance that is wholesome. Because unless you got to be like Game of Thrones, just go X-rated. Just oh god, dude,
Yes,
stop it.
look,
No, like
we
play the
can
play the Michael B. Jordan clip. Like stop it.
focus
Get some
finance.
we can talk we can talk about Game of Thrones and George R. R. Martin's like feelings towards Lord of the Rings later.
But I get what Final is saying. This is love. Martin is about lust, but again, we'll get into that later. But I do understand what Final is saying because before this scene, who does not love that scene in the Fellowship where she pledges her devotion to him in Rivendell, and that beautiful music by Anya is like, oh, that is just beautiful. That is just so gorgeous. That whole scene. And you don't need much to know they are in love. Now, the backstory for all you that have not read the novel, you I have to remind people because people, all the ultra blue-haired feminists, their panties get burnt because Arwen gave up immortality to be with Aragorn. You have to remember that's a tough decision for Arwen in the books when she makes the choice to be with him, because if she marries Aragorn, she inherits death, which is the sin of man. I forgot exactly how to describe it, but it's the imperfection of men is you inherit death. And Elrond knew this. So this decision she makes, this is a tough choice, but I love her bravery that she makes it.
Mhm.
She
And we
knows
see
what that
similar
means.
moments happen like this in the Silmarillion.
You're right, exactly. You're exactly right. I was just giving a little backstory on why that scene and the decision was so monumentous because of what she's giving up to be with. She says it in her speech on that bridge. She said, I would rather share a lifetime with you than face all the ages of this world alone. I choose a mortal life. And that's not light in those words. That's exactly what it means for all you youngsters out there. That means she's giving up her immortality. Oh, elves are forever, as you all know. But if
She didn't
I
give
go
up
to
her
Aragorn,
immortality. She traded her immortality for another immortality. You want to know what that immortality is? You know what the real key to immortality for us human beings? You say that sin of man is death, but you want to know something? Man has perfected immortality, and it's something that I've been coming to grips with in my introspective journeys within my mind. So for all these people who are searching for immortality, right? The true immortality is children.
oh
That's right.
well, no, I don't. I agree with you.
The true immortality is children. She didn't trade. She didn't give up her immortality. She traded her immortality for another immortality. Children. Yes, your children will outlive you, but they will carry on your legacy. However they go about it, it's up to them and their choice. But they are your living legacy. They are your immortality. You don't live on through them, yes, but in some capacity, your legacy live on through them. That's the key to immortality.
Very well said, Commander. Very well said. I totally agree. I
She
didn't mean
is
to.
sharing in she yes, man's imperfection is death. But by commingling with man, she is achieving man's version of immortality. The elves don't have that. Sure,
You're right.
they propagate their legacy too, and their legacy forever lives on too. And it takes years upon years for them to die of old age. But at the end of the day, they are also trading one immortality for another. Their children. That's
Very
something that
well.
will that any self-loathing person that actually fears death but also worships it at the same time will never grasp. Please
Very
excuse
well.
my wife working on the dishes in the background, but go ahead, Leia.
I was just agreeing with you. That's a very interesting take on their relationship, and
That's a
her
take on life itself.
and probably why her decision was not difficult for her. Maybe deep down when she decided to make this decision, that's probably what she was thinking of in her
Maybe
mind.
deep down.
Elrond is thinks she's throwing everything away and he'll lose her. For those of you again in the backstory of the book is Elrond says to Aragorn that he can have her hand in marriage, but he must defeat Sauron first, and then he can marry her. But Elrond at first is reluctant, but eventually he comes around and realizes that I can't keep these two apart.
You already know what that meant, right?
Yeah.
What that also meant
What?
symbolically, a
Uh, uh,
father surrendering his child to another.
oh yeah, yeah.
So
That's not.
remember, when Tolkien wrote these books, he wrote them in a biblical fashion.
Yes. Agreed.
So remember this: Elrond letting him have his daughter's hand in marriage. That is a father surrendering his daughter to the man who's going to be his son-in-law. That means that means I'm now really. That's for fathers, period, to their daughters, to their son-in-laws. When they allow the man to marry their daughter, that's telling them that I relinquish my protection of my daughter to put upon you to protect my daughter, and then but therefore you're protecting my future grandchildren.
Which she does have
Hmm.
down the line. That she does have. I
And that's
kind of got.
entirely why Valjean wanted Marius to be happy with Cosette. That's the reason why. What Wolf said.
Damn right.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely agree upon that.
You feeling this humble?
Yep.
I knew you would. So, anything else you want to? Let's talk about the horrors. More of the horrors in this movie.
Well, before we do, I just want to say, as we move on, we talked about very quickly. Aragorn is fighting, guys. I just want to bring up one thing: the infight between Aragorn and the orc at the very end.
Urukai.
The
Lurks,
Urkai.
lurks,
Okay, right. Thank
lurks.
you. The Urkai. That final fight between the Urkai. The Urkai had already shot Boromir with the arrow, so Boromir is dying. But then how Aragorn just flies in there and took that thing on, and I mean, it's so good to see a fight where the hero is actually putting up a fight and not getting butt whipped, and he can whip
As
the other
good as
person,
that
but he
fight
does it.
was, I'm gonna say this: as good as that fight was, it was poorly cut.
Even the extended one, you don't think so?
Hmm. I've seen that fight so many times. As good, it's good as for what it was, but
Mm-hmm.
my goodness, Peter, why'd you
Yeah,
cut it that way?
yeah. A lot of the fight scenes in throughout this trilogy, there's a lot of like shaky cams and a lot because it's really chaotic as to how this is happening. But at the same time, it's just oh my lord. I mean, you get there's a fight going on, but holy lord, it is so chaotic. This is why there's a lot of shaky
No,
cams,
I want to
a
point
lot of
specifically to the Lurks versus Aragorn fight. Too many times have he switched position camera positions. There were times where there's a moment where when Aragorn tackles Lurtz, Lurtz throws him off, and then he brandishes a sword and a shield. Like they just straight up materialize in his hands. Another time he throws a shield when like the one time it actually lingers on for him to try to cut off Aragorn's head, but then
Mm-hmm.
but then like he like stabs his leg. Lurtz punches him again. The camera's behind him while he's limping away to take Aragorn's dagger out of his excuse me, his leg, and then it finally gets normal. I was like wow. you could have merged all that into one shot, at least three shots. But unfortunately, we had to watch at least like five cuts to get to the one part where they're finally fighting each other blade by blade, and he finally cuts off his arm, and then cuts off his head.
Well, the audience that I was in the theater cheered like
I
crazy when
was
he
too,
did
but
that. They're
the more times I watched the movie, the more times I noticed it. That
well,
that
you're
fight was, it's a good, like I said, it's a good fight. The music is hyping
hmm
it up and everything, but it also makes you forget how poorly shot it was.
I see your point.
And
I
you
see
see
your
this
point.
a lot throughout this entire trilogy, those kinds of fights. Shaky cams, lots of cuts. It is so chaotic.
It got better in Return of the King.
Yeah, he could maybe he cleaned everything up in Return of the
He
King.
finally pulled the camera back.
Mhm. And I love that scene where he tells Frodo to run, and he just walks just so cool when
Yeah,
with the girl, and he just run, and he just walks up there so cool, ready to take those guys on. I'm like, I
dodges the
so
first
love
swing,
that. Yeah,
cuts
that is
that dude out
so.
the way. Then Lego shows up, shoots one dude in the head. Then Gimli throws one of his hatchets at another one. His throwing axe at another one. I was like, yes. See what
Yes.
the one time he actually lets the camera go is during that sequence. But when it comes to
Mhm.
one on ones, he fucks that up badly.
I never noticed it, but it's okay. I can understand what you're saying.
I mean, like it's the first movie, he's
Hmm.
way more forgiving. Like when it comes to CGI creatures, especially the cave troll fight, he does let the once again he does let the camera go. He
Yeah,
doesn't
he did in
cut
that
too
one.
much.
Right, he did in that one. That would
Even
make.
with the goblins are close quarters, there's not really that much chaos in it that much. Yes, there's a few shakes here and there, but there's sometimes when the camera stays still for a while. Especially
Yeah,
when when Aragorn roars and cuts off that one goblin's head off. But go ahead, Leia.
no, I was just going to agree with you about the goblin fight. That was well shot. Yeah, that was a fight scene. That was I
It's
could
just
see what you're saying there.
the Lurtz and Aragorn fight bugs me so much because goodness gracious, why he should like that when everything else was right. Everything else was right, but that one was so inconsistent. It's like, man. But yeah, oh,
You want?
who cannot forget the Balrog?
Oh, oh,
Oh yeah.
oh, oh, the bell.
That thing scared
Oh.
the crap out of me in the Bakshi film.
But I like the way it was set up. I like how they're
Hmm.
running and it's dark and it's all quiet, and then they hear this noise. And they hear this. It's all everything. I mean, first of all, it's something. So it's something because it scares the goblins away, and they're sitting there all in the dark, like what could possibly be scaring them away? And then you hear that thing, you hear the fight, you hear the look
The
on.
growl.
Yeah, you hear the growl, and then you see Gandalf, the look on his face, like, oh no, what I dreaded is coming true.
Yeah, because he's actually seen it before. Because this ties in again to the Silmarillion. Because he was one of the because he was one of Gandalf was one of the Ainur, and there are two Balrogs that were part of the Ainur as well.
Yeah, and that explains why he was dreading it. Yeah, it was. He said, "Oh no, I don't want to." No, the thing I dreaded is now coming to me, and also like, I may not survive this. Look, this is. I'm going to try, but I may not.
You
But
shall not pass! I
I was
must
just
summon the
about.
sacred fire with the flame of Ornor. The dark fire will not avail you. Flame of Uldan, go back to the shadow. You shall not pass! Thing
That
just look down
thing.
and snort.
Yeah. But who does not? That one of the most famous quotes from the movie. You shall not
Yeah,
pass.
and later became
That
a
meme.
meme.
Yes. So many memes on that. Absolutely right. So many memes on that. And the devastation when he is taken down, especially by Frodo. But also again,
The
Aragorn is
Watcher.
is
Anybody
is
remember
is
the Watcher? That octopus?
Yes.
Oh,
I I
Forgot
remember
about
the
that guy.
Watcher.
Would you say humble?
Kind of forgot about that guy.
What? Really?
you forgot about Tolkien's equivalent to the Kraken.
Yeah.
I remember the tentacles. But I
Okay,
think
at
that's
least you
about
remember
it.
tentacles. Didn't think you were into hentai, but okay.
We did see the
Uh,
whole body. We saw
Yeah.
the whole body.
The mouth and
Had a
everything.
face and everything.
oh,
Yeah.
It's done.
I need to rewatch the movie to remember that again.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it died by getting a bunch of avalanche of rocks crumbled on them when they entered the gate.
Humble. It's the
What's
scene
the
where
Elvish
Eric,
word? What's the Elvish word for friend? Well, no.
when they're going into the mines of Moria, Humble, and Aragorn tells Sam, "Do not disturb the water," because Sam kept throwing rocks in the water, and then just before they get in,
That's
that
it.
monster comes. The
That's it.
monster comes out. And what
Oh,
about, guys? What about, because well, if you're talking about scary moments, what about the scene where they're in the mines of Moria, and they come to where there's the carcasses or the remains of all the dead dwarfs that we know came from the Hobbit, and
Right.
Pippin, and the thing falls into the whale and makes all
Fool of
that
a took.
noise.
Next
Yeah,
time, throw yourself in there and realize of your stupidity.
I
and
mean,
then it's all quiet, and then they hear the sound of the goblins
Boom,
coming.
it's like,
boom,
oh my god, what did you just
boom,
wake up?
boom, 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 boom. They weren't woke. They were high. They were just elsewhere. It's happened. It's the last.
Yeah, that woke something up.
It's
Mm-hmm.
the last.
Well, some of you were younger when you saw that scene. Did that scene scare you a little bit?
I kind of
Or
I
jumped a
was
little
filled
bit
with
when I heard
dread
that bump.
when that happened. It's like when that fell down, and then suddenly we hear noises after it fell down. It's just like, oh, what, Pippin? What did you just wake up?
yeah, what did you just do?
I
I
jumped
can't.
when the I jumped when the when the Balrog growled.
Yeah, I was about to ask you, did you get scared at that moment when? Yeah, yeah, when you heard
I didn't get scared when it appeared. I got scared when
okay.
it went.
But but I got to give Jackson credit for not, because like you said, a lot of little kids were in the theater watching this, and he didn't shy away from the scary parts, and he made the scary parts scary, but he didn't have to overdo it. Like you said, Wolf, you got scared just hearing the bellhop's growl. You didn't see it, you just heard it.
Mm-hmm.
And I just realized hearing it is probably more, yeah, probably more terrifying than seeing it. And then when Pippin, and I'm sitting there going, Pippin, why did you do that? Everything was going so, everything was fine, and then he just had to.
And apparently that scene was funny in the original animated version. It's just like, oh, the Pippin, because Gandalf was still running around because he was just like stressed out, like because he just couldn't even take it. Here he's just
Yeah.
more reserved, just full of a took. Throw yourself in and realize of your stupidity. But then it's filled with dread, so it's like, oh crap, we woke something up.
Exactly. I kind of don't blame him. I'm like, oh, Pippin, why did you have to make noise?
Apparently, one of the funniest
Mhm.
scenes in the original film, where it's just like,
And the funny thing is that thing didn't just fall down. It just kept going clank, clank, cling, ping, clank, cling, cling.
yeah,
Just cling, just,
falls
oh,
down a well.
And Pippin
yeah.
is just embarrassed. Just embarrassed. He says no, he just fucked
I
up.
thought he was just
Yeah.
like more afraid because of what he might do. Because after what happened
No, just
at
like
Philip's
as
party,
it keep falling, he just cringing and wincing and wincing. I was like, yep, you fucked up.
Yeah, yeah, that's basically what it is. And everybody had that look on their face like,
and
oh,
because
Pippin,
of
yeah.
their and because of how much they would screw up, that's also how they got captured in order to save Frodo.
Yeah,
Well,
uh-huh.
they did it for a heroic cause in order to save Frodo, but at the end, that's how they got captured.
Well, the thing
Yeah.
is, one thing I like about Pippin was earlier when the Nazgul was searching for him, sniffing out the ring when they were hiding underneath the roots,
Hmm.
and Pippin just takes that bag and just toss it to the side, or was it Mary that did that?
I think it was Pippin.
I think it
Yeah,
was Pippin that.
Pippin had the bag just toss like. the one time I saw somebody actually doing something to detract the hunter of a scary movie that nobody ever think to fucking do in a fucking slasher movie, no less, or even just anything that's hunting your ass, and your ass is hiding, and you cannot think to pick or grab something and chuck it somewhere to distract them. There's games around that mechanic. There's games with that fucking mechanic, and it irks me to no end when somebody just
And you
sitting
choose
there
not to play it.
breathing, damn near hyperventilating. And the thing can't even hear the person hyperventilate, nor does the slasher tracking them down. And you just and I'm like grab something and chuck it to the side.
Well, maybe they.
That should get them.
Well,
It's
That's a one.
called fight or flight response.
But does it have to happen in almost every single movie?
Not really.
I'm like yeah, there's fight and flight, but half the time there's some people that actually seem like they got a better fight response than a flight response. And
well,
usually fight usually tells you to grab something and throw that shit to the side. Throw it as far as you can. Hope to God they don't hear you throw it, and hope it ricochet off of something far away from you.
well,
I'm surprised
they.
nobody didn't do that shit in a quiet place.
Oh, well,
I was like
uh,
bro, just slowly and quietly pick something up and fling that shit. They listen and attack the sound. Throw that shit. Wherever you, even wherever you got
Even when
on
you
your
play stealth
person,
games, you can do
throw that
this.
shit. I was like
well,
look, don't get me wrong. I love both the Quiet Place movies, but there were so many times where I'm like, these motherfuckers just standing right
Like,
there. You got something. You gotta have something in your damn pocket.
yeah, like,
Pick it out of your
okay, boys,
pocket.
it's time to play chess and not checkers.
Like pick it out of your damn pocket and chuck that shit and hope it ricochets off of something so they can go investigate it. They investigate the sound. Oh man, that was a
Is it
rant.
like it's Skyrim, just like, oh, what was that? You don't move, just must have been the wind. Because apparently everyone in Skyrim's field mission is based on movement.
That was a rant, but yeah, that right there, when Pippin did, I was like, smart. Finally, somebody did something like that. Finally, because man, I swear, the years of so many slashers from '90s to '80s, I'm like, not one of these motherfuckers ever think to grab something and just chuck that shit and hope to God they heard where it went.
And then run.
Yes, run in the opposite direction of the direction they went in the direction of where you threw it at. I'm like, look, some
We
I
got
can
north,
forget.
east, west, and the opposite direction of where you threw the object.
Right.
I'm,
I'm just like, man, like you're right, Final. It is called fight and flight, but I'm saying like 9 times out of 10, can you discern which one is more of the flight and which one is more of the fight? Think about that. Which like sometimes discern which one was more of the fight or the flight.
Yeah.
And
You
9 times out of
got to
10,
survive. You gotta do something about it in order to get out.
and it makes me so mad when I know which ones are the fight and they don't do that shit. I expect the ones that flight that don't do that shit.
Well, I think that's about everything in Fellowship. You want to go into the two towers?
I'm gonna hit the two
Sure.
towers because you talk about
Yeah.
spooky scenes. It is you get a lot of scary stuff in this one, and of course, a character that I've told people would be so memorable, and
Mm-hmm.
that was Gollum's
Andy
debut.
Serkis as
Yes,
Gollum.
as Gollum. As
Yeah, they were
Gollum. Yeah.
hyping that up in the tabloids before Two Towers ever came out. Like
Yeah, because
they
he
had
was
Andy
in the
Serkis up in
shadows. You just see his hand, we hear his voice, and you just see his shadow. You
his
see his
face.
eyes too. Yeah, just his eyes.
Yeah. We hear mention of him.
Shia
Mhm.
Baggins.
Mhm.
Oh god, I'm looking up Golem right now, and they only show me the new fucking game. Fuck
Oh,
off.
not that.
I don't care about that damn game. That motherfucker look. Okay, he's ugly, but he looked way ugly in this one.
Oh, he's a mess in the game. The movie, he's ugly but appropriate, but in the game, it looks like a fourth grader drew him.
He looks
Now
like an emo junior high brat.
he looks like he looks like freaking Crispin Glover on fucking meth.
I mean, is that what? How else can you describe Gollum?
I mean, the game Golem looks like straight up freaking
I
Crispin
know.
Glover if he was on morphine. He had too much heroin.
I mean, well, yeah,
Yes.
that design of Gollum looked bad in that game. I meant like here, like how else can you describe Gollum in here?
Golem looks sinister.
He's
Golem look. Go on.
no. Go ahead. Continue, Wolf.
No, you go on.
Well, in here in the film, he's described and he's made up. I know he's CGI, but he's done very well. In that game you just described, you described it exactly. It's like a fourth grader didn't read Lord of the Rings and just saw like maybe some crackhead on the street and and molded them into that.
he really became the standout of that movie. Aside from the very standout set piece, which was Gandalf plummeting with the Balrog
Yes.
in the opening of the movie, and that was really interesting that Peter Jackson announced that they were going to take place where they were saying that they're going to take place where the Fellowship left off at, and I was like, what the hell does that mean? What does that really mean? What are you talking about? And I finally saw it on DVD, mind you. And I was like,
Mm-hmm.
oh, nice. Man, that was
Yes.
a roller coaster ride of a sequence. Just him
Of Gandalf
plummeting.
fighting. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, plump. Like what's funny was I read that scene in the book, but man, I was not prepared for how he was gonna bring that to life. Now,
That was
what
a
really
great.
stood was sorry.
Go ahead.
Go on, Leia. No, you go on.
That's the face of nightmares.
Yes.
That
No,
guy ended up being a pop culture reference unto himself.
Mm-hmm.
that was, it's like Wolf said, Gollum was I think the talk of the Two Towers.
Mm-hmm.
Everyone just could not stop talking about Andy Serkis as his character was everywhere. Everybody was imitating his voice. Everybody was just, I told
Yeah.
people
Even
you were
with the
going to come
scenes
out.
where he's talking to himself or Gollum's talking to himself.
Yes.
Yeesh.
Yeah, I told
Yeah.
people you will come out this movie remembering Gollum. You're going to remember this character. He was a standout even in the cartoon of The Hobbit, and
hmm
even he was a standout then. He was a real standout. But this
Excuse
one,
me.
he I think he was the I guess stole the show. He was the talk of the Two Towers, and then that's all everybody
But
Absolutely.
no
talked
one
about.
was really preparing for him to have at least a bit of a sympathetic light to him.
Yeah, you mean you wouldn't expect it to have empathy for him the way people did?
Mm-hmm.
Because
Mm-hmm.
he
hmm
because
Even in the
yeah, I can
Hobbit
see it.
trilogy, where we first see him in the first time in the unexpected journey, where
Mm-hmm.
Bilbo sees him for the first time.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he felt some pity for him, and I think Gandalf speaks a little bit of that to Frodo when they're still in the in the cave when Frodo sees just his eyes or just a shadow of him, and Gandalf warned him
No, he
about
saw
how.
him crawling.
Yeah,
We
Yeah.
yeah,
we only see
yeah,
his eyes
yeah.
and his silhouette.
hmm
Exactly. But I think he was meant in a way to be sympathetic in some way. I think that it's not surprising. A lot of people said that he was creepy, but they felt some sense of they said some pity for him because, as we all know, he was once a hobbit himself. And I think in this, Frodo had some sympathy for him too, as well. Even though Sam wasn't trusty of him, you guys know that Sam didn't like him very
Mm-hmm.
much.
Hmm.
Yeah, Sam.
Yeah, quite a love
Sam.
triangle there.
Well,
Yeah,
Sam had a pretty good point not to trust the guy that bit off Frodo's finger.
Oh yeah,
yeah, yes.
yeah. He knew Gollum was up to no good.
Oh yeah, he did.
Well,
And he
Yeah.
was so happy jumping into the volcano himself.
yeah. What
No,
what
he
can
just felt
what
dumb.
can be said about Gollum is yeah, is yes. Even though he does have a sympathetic backstory, he the movie as well as the books, like they remind the audience that he is still an antagonist.
Yeah, in spite
Yes.
of all of his humanity. I mean, take a page from what Ishi said on one part, where it says it's called pathos, where you give like one character more passion to it, because pathos means passion in Greek.
Hmm.
Exactly. So I don't blame Sam for being suspicious of him. I think I would be the same way too. I would watch him very carefully,
Yeah,
and
especially with
stand
him
under
getting
my.
passionate about potatoes.
Master,
Yeah.
what
Mhm.
taters?
Mash
We
them, put them in a
wants it.
stew.
We needs it. Must have the precious. They stole it from us. Sneaky little hobbitses. Wicked, tricksy, false. No, not master. No, precious. Yes, precious, false. They will cheat you, hurt you, lie. Master is my friend. You don't have any friends. Nobody likes you. Not listening. I'm not listening. You're a liar and a thief. No, murderer. Go away. Go away. I hate you. I hate you. Where would you be without me? Uh, Gollum. Gollum. I saved us. It was me. We survived because of me. Not anymore. What'd you say? Master looks out of us now. We don't need you anymore. What? Leave now and never come back. Now. Leave now and never come back. Yeah. Leave now and never come back. We tell him to go away. And away he goes, precious. Gone, gone, gone. Spiegel is free.
Hmm.
And the great interpretation by Wolf Commander.
Eh,
uh,
I give it a
no,
5
it's very good.
out of 10.
It's not bad. I've heard some worser ones of many people who have tried to imitate Smeagol or imitate Gollum. I've heard many, but Andy Serkis got a ton of praises for this because he had to do the motion caption and the voice of the, and it worked. Like I said, he was the talk of the film. But I
A quick
don't
aside.
blame him. Hmm.
A quick aside. This is one casting choice that I did not see coming, even in my childhood. Knowing full well who this person is, after so many times of seeing him in most movies, Brad Dourif as Grima Wormtongue.
You were surprised he was cast in that part?
I'm surprised it was him. I thought he was another person.
Hmm.
My brain did not make the connection of his voice. Did anybody notice that was Brad Dourif? Chucky
I recognize the
Yep.
face.
And really,
from
I
Child's
was
Play?
really I was surprised like back then to see Brad Dourif in a fantasy movie and not Chucky.
Yes.
Yeah, so I had a feeling that the reason why he wanted to play this character is he wants to play against type.
What type?
Exactly.
Because Wormtongue is not, it's not a very nice guy, as we all
Oh
see.
no, of
He's
Sort
an
course.
of
agent
lusting
of
after
Sauron.
my girl Eowyn. You better
Aowen.
keep your dirty hands off of her. So glad freaking Judge Dredd was in that damn. That's another performance I never saw coming. Judge Dredd,
Yeah.
freaking Carl
Yes,
Urban.
yes,
Carl Urban was in it as
yes.
Eomir.
Mm-hmm.
Another badass I liked.
Yes,
Okay.
Leader of the
I was.
Rohirrim, Humble. You probably don't remember him.
Oh,
The cousin,
cool. Oh
the one
wow,
that
that's cool.
the one that surrounded what was left of the Fellowship.
Mm.
The one that point their spears at them.
Oh
If
my.
your head was a little bit higher, dwarf, I would cut it off.
Yes,
That badass.
Mm.
yes. He was the one that captured Aragorn, Legolas, and Gimli, and demanded what they were
Riders of
doing.
Rohan! What
Hmm.
news of the march? The exiled
And
prince.
the scene, I love the scene where they meet up with Gandalf. He's now Gandalf the White, and they go to King Theoden,
Yeah, who's
and they
played by Bernard Hill as Theoden.
yes, another good performance, and they break Sauron's spell that Theoden has been under. He's been under this spell for
Saruman, mostly.
yes, yeah, Saruman's spell. He's been under Saruman's spell, and I like this. Yes, I like that whole scene where he's walking in there, and maybe correct me if I'm wrong, but he's walking. He's able to get in. He's walking in, and there's all this action in the background as Aragorn and Legolas and Gimli are fighting off the other side of the soldiers.
It was
I thought that was
punching the shit out of him.
yes, yes,
Like,
that's what I
it's like
like.
a bunch of like it just straight turns to a martial arts scene.
Yeah, and then you have Gandalf trying to say this Shakespearean speech, and then all this and punching and fighting and kicking is going on. This is going on in the back. It kind of distracted me a little bit.
It didn't distract me none.
It didn't? Oh, okay. No, I
Nope.
can still hang on
I
to the
was
scene, but I.
I mean, it broke what broke my attention was giving
Oh.
just down that one guy. Does that does
Yeah.
that growl he did when he emerged out of the snow in the
Mhm.
first
Who
movie?
are you talking about? Gimli?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay. And they break this spell that Theoden has been under. I thought that was pretty. Yeah, I thought that was pretty cool. And these are great shots of Gollum. But yeah, like I said, he was the talk of the town of the. Because that's what actually, guys. What did you think of? Yeah, that's them going to see. This is them going to see King Theoden to get him to prepare for battle. Because they're
Mm-hmm.
about to be invaded. And first of all, he had to break the spell that he was under. And but sadly, coming out of that spell, he realizes that I think his eldest son it was dead.
Yeah, they did it.
Yeah, yeah. And sadly, he didn't realize it while he was under the spell.
I think I think Warrington killed him. I think
I think
Greenberg
so.
killed him.
Yeah, I think so too.
Like, ain't no way in hell he gonna
Oh,
die
you're not
that
far
quick.
off.
Yeah.
I know that medical care is a lot different in medieval times, but I doubt Theodred would die immediately that night.
Yeah.
So I think
I,
I was like motherfucker, you had something to do with it. That's why you were there, like just right there.
Yeah,
Like you was
that's
right
why
there, and I'm
he was the poison in Theoden's ear.
yes.
exactly, but he was right there, and she's there, kneeling over her cousin's her what is that her cousin, right? Her cousin, right?
I think he was a brother.
You sure? Because
Her
because
family
Stanley's our
member.
uncle.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that's our
You talk
cousin.
about okay.
Yeah,
This
yeah.
Eowyn,
Eomir,
right?
yeah, Eomir is our brother. But nah, the
Oh,
thing
okay.
is, she was there, hovering over his body, and he pop in. I'm like, you did it,
Oh, yeah.
motherfucker. You did it, motherfucker. You did it. I don't care what anybody say. You did it.
I could just hear you in the theater going, "You did it! You did it! He did it!"
Well, I wasn't in the theater at that time, but I was like when I
Oh, I
was
forgot you
in the
saw it.
room.
You was at home. I forgot.
Yeah, when I
Yes,
was
you were
at
at
home
home.
and I was in the room, I'm like, he did it. You did it. I know you did, because it ain't no way in hell you go. Look, his wounds was grievous, but I seriously thought he would die immediately that night.
I didn't think so either. He would die immediately. I didn't understand that either. I don't think so either. I think Worm Tongue had something to do with it.
Probably
But
killed him at the same night that he used to kill Sauron with at the end at the final movie.
Getting ahead of
yeah,
ourselves there.
well, he was trying to ease with like you said, Eowyn. He had a thing for Eowyn. He was trying to
Motherfucker drooling in front of her too, like,
yeah.
ugh.
Gross.
Oh,
Just,
mm-mm.
That's
just
why he wanted to do it.
Yeah.
motherfucker just trying, just really trying to break her will, and she looking back at her, and the motherfucker drool run down his damn chin, like, wipe that off.
He got what he fucking
Gross.
deserved in the Return of the King, though.
Yes,
My
I agree.
goodness, man, like Brad Dorff, man, hats off to you for playing that man, slimy motherfucker.
That's the way he was described. Yes. Hmm.
Hmm.
Yes, exactly. But exactly the way Tolkien described him as a slimy. That's why they call him worm tongue. If you don't, you let your guard down, he'll easily get into you. And he tried to do that with Eowyn, say these sweet words to try to win her over, but eventually she set him straight. Basically, she set him straight, and she was disgusted. And then Aragorn walks in. We all know she had a
She's
thing
already
for Aragorn.
infatuated with
Yes,
Aragorn, even though Aragorn is already in a relationship with Arwen.
yes, yes. We know he's in a relationship with Arwen, but we see that she is infatuated with him. Yes, she sees stars when he walks in, and make sure she stays around him because he's wearing the necklace that Arwen gave him. She asked him, "Who gave you that jewel? Who gave you that? Who is she? Who's the woman that gave you that?"
So I can
So
cut that bitch
yeah,
and make him mine.
she had googly eyes for Aragorn. There was
She
no.
She
ain't
was
that devious.
She was thirsty.
she
Especially when they
she
lock swords with each other, like, I see what you're trying to do, girl.
yes.
Practicing that sword so you can get close to him. Okay, I see what you're trying to do, Edwin. I ain't mad at you. I ain't mad at you. I mean, he's spoken for, but you, the heart knows what it wants.
Yes.
It's a shame that he's spoken for. It's a shame.
Yeah.
Well, there's still Faramir,
Yeah, in the
played
end,
by
it really was.
Remus Lupin.
Yeah, Farmir, he had a thing
Remus
for.
freaking Lupin was in this damn movie.
That was a good performance by
Nice.
him, though. I liked his storyline. It was tragic.
Can
When we
you
get to Return of
imagine?
the King.
Can you just imagine so many people were in so much stuff?
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Wait, Denethor showed up in this film that we're on right now,
Or
right?
no,
Or with
no,
That's
he
oh,
was
we're still on two towers,
okay.
but
excuse me. Ooh.
it's because he's also the one that found and captured Frodo and Sam and
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
y-
when they were observing the Oliphants, the
yes.
Easterlings,
Hmm.
and they were
He was
attacked by Faramir's I'm gonna call them mercenaries or no, his band of Gondorian knights
yeah,
or
something like that.
rangers. I
Yeah,
think they were rangers. I
Rangers.
don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know what they were. He was something. He was something. But whatever. Go ahead.
No, he had captured them, and also the ring was with him. Is also Sam reveals to him about his brother Boromir and what happened to him.
My men tell me that you are orc spies. Spies? Now wait just a minute. Well, if you're not spies, then who are you? Speak. We are hobbits of the Shire. Frodo Baggins is my name, and this is Samwise Gamgee. Your bodyguard? His gardener. And where is your skulking friend? The gangrel creature. He had an ill-favored look. There was no other. We set out from Rivendell with 7 companions. One we lost in Moria, 2 were my kin. A dwarf there was was also, and an elf, and two men, Aragorn son of Arathorn, and Boromir of Gondor. You're a friend of Boromir? Yes, for my part, it will grieve you then to learn that he is dead. Dead? How? When? As one of his companions, I hope you would tell me. He was my brother.
That
The
and then
feels.
yeah, yes, the feels, the feels. It's sad. But Sam also explains why the reason why he died. He died protecting us or protecting Frodo from he goes on to say he died protecting us basically. That is the reason
Mm-hmm.
why he died. He didn't die in vain. He died brave. He died, brave with it. What other things that stand out in the Two Towers?
Treebeard.
Yeah, I was about to bring that up. You guys, I like
Oh, the
them.
ants!
Yes. I like that scene with the ants. That was great. I liked how that was done.
Tree?
Yeah,
I am no tree. I am an ant.
it's also like the fact just from how Gimli is just scared shitless of these things because the dwarves are scared of these things. But yet Gimli, he's scared of them too, but he's just only doing that because of for the sake of his own for his fellow men.
uh-huh. What Pippin and Marion or Gimli? You said Gimli is afraid of the
He's afraid of the ents because all the dwarves are.
yo,
Because
yes.
again, going back in the Silmarillion, because shoot, the name should not be escaping me because I had them down. Uh,
You
the
poor
Smith
thing.
god, basically the Smith god, the Hephaestus in the Silmarillion. He created the dwarves because he kind of pulled similar to Melkor, because Melkor was the first Dark Lord of Middle Earth way before Sauron. He basically pulled a Melkor because they were trying to. He was making a race of his own because of the creation of men, but then he knew that was a bad thing because of what happened. But then Iluvatar, who is the father of all of them, the All Father of them in this world, in the mythology, he already still forgave him with that, and then he set them um, along with the elves and the men. But then his wife, the Smith God's wife, I forgot who it was, because again, I had their names written down. Um, she was already scared of what's going to be going on. So then she created the ants in case of the orcs get too axe happy, and axe happy they were, and that's why the dwarves are scared of them.
Thank you for the backstory. I see. I see. It's a wonderful backstory. Guys, what did you think of the Battle of Helm's Deep?
I
Everybody
was
seemed to
about
come
to
out
get
that
to
theater.
that.
Well, I'm going to let you take that. Wolf, you go ahead and take that commentary on the Battle of Helm's Deep.
Uh, Great build up and like just oh man, I'm flashing back to Saruman showing Greenwood Wormtongue the tens of thousands of Urkai at his as beck and call, and my goodness, that was quite a sight.
Even for Wormtongue to see, he was
But
even.
sir, there is no army. Boom. Boom, boom, boom. I was like, oh damn. Dun-dun-dun. Dun-dun-dun.
And also the destruction of the forest was gone. You can see the ants' homeland was destroyed by what
The
Saruman
world
had
is
done.
changing. Who now has the strength to stand against the armies of Isengard and Mordor? To stand against the might of Sauron and Saruman in the union of the two towers. Roll credits. Together, my lord Sauron, we shall rule this Middle Earth. The old world will burn in the fires of industry, the forest will fall, a new order will rise. We will drive the machine of war with the sword and the spear and the iron fist of the orc. We have only to remove those who oppose us. It will begin in Rohan. Too long have these peasants stood against you, but no more. Rohan, my lord, is ready to fall. Its victory is at hand. This night, the land will be stained with the blood of Rohan. Wait, holy shit. My
Uh,
bad.
no,
No,
you're
no, no.
doing very well.
This the part. A new power is rising. Its victory is at hand. This night, the land will be stained with the blood of Rohan. March to Helm's Deep. Leave none alive. To war! There'll be no dawn for man. Just seeing that army just march, I'm like, you guys are fucked.
Oh, that's what Legolas was concerned about when he was talking. Then they had the disagreement. Legolas was telling Aragorn that we may not make this. They're out. You're outnumbered. They're not going to be able to handle this. And they had a little disagreement. Dom, did you ever want to comment on the Helm's Deep scene?
Please do. I would like to hear the Hound of the South's take on Helm's Deep. If he's not eating dinner, that is.
Oh. I guess he's eating dinner.
What about you, Humble?
The Battle of Helm's Deep was pretty epic, especially with the big old fight scenes where they had all those huge group fights and big aerial shots.
That's it.
Well, there was that one really great part where where they got through the first wave and then the second wave turned out to be bigger.
I'll accept that. That's a nice assessment of the fight. I mean, Jesus, man, when they're marching through that rain and you get that next shot where the lightning is just striking and you see their freaking armor glistening in the rain. It's like
Mm-hmm.
just them just walking and it's just pure freaking darkness and all you see is armor clanging throughout that. And it's just and you just hear the music just rising. And at this point they build up this they've amassed enough people to fight this fight at this fortress. And of course you got that scene with Aragorn with that little boy.
Yes, yeah.
There's even
And
a
That
scene.
Legolas surfing down the stairs on a shield.
Yeah,
was.
that, but I was trying to set up the mood where they even plop a freaking helm on a little kid, a little
Oh
kid,
my.
a little kid that looks like he was nothing but 8 or 10 years old, and he was short. I still remember that scene where you used to see this soldier just takes this helmet and just plops it on his head. The kid don't even have no armor after that. That's the only armor he's got. That really sets up how much they are desperate to have hands to defend this fortress. That they even got the little boys fighting, and you got that little boy, that little teenage boy saying, "Some say that they won't survive the night." I was like, "Oh shit,
Mhm.
you dead."
I remember that saying. Well, that was how dire their
Even the
situation.
children, even the children have the nerve to fight against the dark forces of Sauron.
I did like that little kid grab that one rock and just drop it on on one of the Uruk-hai. There was one that mountain on the rock that I like to call Kane because he looked just like Kane. Oh no, that was the Uruk-hai that took Merry and Pippin and before they got ambushed by the Rohirrim.
Yes. Hmm.
Yeah, the rise the one that was talking looks like meat's back on the menu, boys.
Yeah,
That's what I
and
call
they.
Kane because he looked like Kane to me. You don't know who I'm talking about. It's Kane from Legacy of Kane, Soul Reaver, the Legacy of Kane series.
Oh.
Mm.
Don't lie, he looked like him. If you
No,
saw
no, no.
Kane, if you saw Kane, Yeah, you saw that orc again. If you saw the two towers again, you know you make the connection.
I was thinking Kane Highwood from Final Fantasy IV.
You and that Final Fantasy, man. You always try to tie it back to Final Fantasy. What's wrong with you, man? Talking about Lord of the Rings and Legacy of
I
Kain.
know.
Well,
But
maybe
yeah,
there's a connection.
this mother this mu-
There
this
you
motherfucker had to bring up Lego.
go. Yeah.
We ain't talking
Oh.
about that shit. Mostly
Oh
because
yeah,
that
let's
shit.
not forget the one remix song says where they just remix Legolas's line. They're taking the hobbits to Isengard.
Oh
Oh
god,
yeah, yes, I remember. Yes, Oh my God, that's another
I
meme
got
that.
y'all fucking started.
Oh, how did this? How
I
could they
was
not forget
really trying to avoid talking about the damn Lego games.
that? I didn't forget. It's a great shot.
Mm.
Yeah, great shot.
Oh,
I
let's
like
not
it.
forget the elves showed up.
Yeah, that was cool. Yeah, the elves showing up to help. Yeah.
No, that fucking switch formations bullshit that they were doing in the third Hobbit movie. That was a real army,
No.
not no damn freaking wherever the hell Peter Jackson's trying to make the Mirkwood elves into, but I digress.
No, we're gonna do that
I'm like,
Or
later.
that Magic of the Gathering game thing.
it's a cool detail, but like Jesus, man, I think elves is his fetish. I just think the elves are his fetish because look,
I mean,
we'll,
is it literally everyone had
we'll
a
get
fetish for
into that
elves
when we
thanks to this film, thanks
we'll
to
get
these
into that
movies?
when we talk about the Hobbit trilogy.
Yeah,
I'm,
but
I'm
I'm
gonna
gonna
tell
say,
I'm gonna tell you in detail why I think the elves were his fetish.
well, who didn't? I wanted to be an elf after seeing this film. I wanted to be part of the elves
But did you
after
want to
seeing
be a
this.
Mirkwood elf? Cause fuck them,
Well, the Mirkwood elves are supposed to be more
fuck them
wild.
and Toriel.
Yeah, I didn't care for Toriel. Toriel was not needed for this
I mean,
film.
I liked her, but like,
But
damn,
there has to be a whole
just
movie on her.
there's nothing to her. I'm not afraid to admit that there's nothing to her.
Hmm.
Eventually, Lily, great performance, but other than that, like all she really one thing I gotta give eventually Lily this, she's good with stunts. She's really good with stunts, and I think that's
Hmm.
why they hired her
Right. Well,
for that position.
Toriel, for those of you out there listening, FYI, was created for the film. She's not a character in the novel in the
I
books.
I think she
She was.
was, but they gender swapped them.
Oh, okay. I have to look into that. I thought she was made
Uh,
specifically for the
I
movie.
could be
But
wrong
but
though.
I see what you're saying, but I think her storyline was not necessary for the Hobbit to work, in my
Yeah,
opinion. It
sure
wasn't
wasn't.
necessary. It wasn't necessary for that to work. And I was going to say, yeah, Gimli was like, yeah, you picked a fine place. I can't, he couldn't see anything.
You could have picked a better spot.
Yeah, I can't see anything.
But
But a lot,
let's not
go ahead.
forget the scene where Frodo almost got. There were so many times Frodo was taken throughout this whole movie,
Yes.
being the
You
He
feel
ring
like,
was
bearer
the
and
damsel in distress.
pretty much. But like the
mm-hmm.
weight of the ring was just weighing down on it ever more.
It was starting to take effect on him.
I mean, this fool fell into a swamp full of dead people.
The dead marshes. Yes, where you can see the faces of, Tolkien describe it, you see the faces of the dead elf soldiers that are locked in that marsh. That was kind of creepy.
You even
Yeah.
had orcs, dead orcs in it too. Just
Yeah. Hmm.
freaking almost
But
got scooped up by a ring raid. Now on a fell beast.
yes.
Because remember in the first movie they got drowned, sort of. They lost
Right.
their steeds. But then
Yes.
they got an upgrade. Now they flying. Race with wings.
Could anyone imagine what his therapy bill is like?
Well, I'm sure, Humble, there's got to be some therapists in Hobbiton.
If they didn't have to go to the Undying Lands.
Yes.
Hmm. And
And
you know what? What was interesting about the fell beasts? The fell beasts actually did get introduced in the first book, but they chose to introduce the fell beasts in the second movie. because they dealt with a fell beast on their way to oh, what was it called? What was it called? The one place where that big statue of that king and queen was.
Uh,
It was the waterfall, something falls or something.
mm-hmm.
But
The
they
kings
dealt
of
they go on. What are you gonna call it?
It was in Fellowship too, was it?
Yeah, it was in
mhm.
Fellowship.
Yes, because that's where they sent Boromir's body to the fall after he died.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
and they're pedaling through the water. And are you talking about the statues that they pass? And Aragorn tells
Yeah,
them
yeah.
who they
Yeah.
are.
But that's
Yeah,
where they're supposed to have dealt with a fell beast.
yeah, they changed yeah, that was changed. Yeah.
What constitutes as a therapist in a medieval fantasy? You say, Neosar? I guess a doctor.
A wizard.
No,
Nah.
Oh.
Priest.
Well,
there you
priest
go.
would be one.
There you go.
Especially when you have one of those, especially when they say to have like their version of Catholic confession, and the adventurer would come over and he'd actually say all the things he casually did, and the priest would be going, "Oh dear God."
You ain't lying.
Uh, how about we wrap things up with a bang, shall we? With Lord of the Rings: The Return of the King.
My least favorite of the trilogy
Why your least favorite?
because I
This is
read
the
the book.
battle. Oh, huh?
Because I
You
read
read
the
the book?
book before I watched the
Yeah.
movie,
Oh,
and there was so much. There was I
go ahead.
call call me petty. Call me. How would you say it? Nitpicky. Call me
Nitpicky. Yeah,
nitpicky.
nitpicky. Uh-huh.
But there was a scene that I wish they had picked. But I understand why they decided not to adapt that part because it would be too glamorized, and for one it would be too the way how Samwise's character is written in this movie, it just wouldn't be too much him. But I would have loved for it to come to show up in any form or capacity, if not briefly. That's what I was hoping it was going to be, at least brief. And it was the speech that he said after cutting Gollum. Yeah, I remember the speech, right?
I remember. Yes, I
Oh, this
remember.
horrid thing! I couldn't even stand to kick at it. Just straight up, just cut him and just bitched his ass out like yeah, yeah. You
I
Oh
tell
my
him,
love
Sam.
those things. They're just so creepy.
The way how they sound too.
Yeah, they're supposed to be.
Fucking
Well,
air
the thing,
support out the wazoo too. Air superiority.
the thing about Return of the King is it lets Sam shine and show just how brave he really is, because he had a lot of bravery moments in Return of the King. This is the scene at the end, going towards the end of Two Towers, where I do like the speech that
Hmm.
he gives to try to encourage Frodo to keep fighting. And I also want to say I do love that final shot of them making their way to Mount Doom, and you see the eye of Sauron there in the same shot. I thought that was a nice shot showing where we're
Yeah, we
going
didn't
to.
really talk about much about the way how they designed Sauron's lidless eye.
Yeah,
Wreathed in
Oh,
flame.
it works. Oh, who's that?
that was me.
Oh, okay. The
Just
design.
that is
Good
a
scene,
technological
Gandalf.
wonder. Just of the Eye of Sauron on the tower. Especially after when Frodo puts on the ring and you see the Eye of Sauron, to know that Sauron's always watching him of whoever puts on the ring.
Or when he touch, or
Exactly.
when
Yeah.
Gandalf touches the Palantir when he puts the cloak back on in the flesh of the eye. That actually I take that was one that made me jump too when they showed the eye.
Mm-hmm.
And there's always watch. Well, the thing about that
Then the
scene is,
third movie fucking ruins it by showing that thing just moving like a damn torchlight, like a damn what you call that thing?
A
Well, he was
candle,
looking. He
no,
was
not a
looking for
candle, a late, what do you call
a
it?
a
Lighthouse,
lighthouse.
lighthouse. A
lighthouse,
lighthouse.
like a lighthouse. It's all
I mean,
moving.
that's
I'm
what it
like,
is.
oh,
It's an all-seeing eye. It's always
Yes.
but did you
watchful.
have to make it
Yes.
move?
Yes.
It's an
Yes. You
eye.
did.
I'm pretty sure it has huge ass peripheral vision.
Oh, come on.
It's an eye.
I don't
Come
give
on.
a damn. It's pointing in one direction. They can only go in one direction towards him. He can see in that stretch
So
of
you're saying
land.
eyes cannot even go the other
But
way?
why did they have to
Can
turn
even
into a
glance the other way?
spotlight?
Because he's looking
It's
for
an
him. He knows
eye.
he's near. It's an
It's
eye.
watching.
But wouldn't
It's
it be more creepier if it was just staring in one direction?
No,
When
because
the ring's destroyed, yes.
mm-hmm.
You ain't getting my what I'm trying to say here.
I'm seeing.
It's an eye.
That's the point. It's an eye pointing one direction, but you're going in the same direction towards that eye, and you don't know if it's looking at you or not.
would have been
Don't you?
creepier if it blinked.
It. I'm just
It's just
saying.
an eye. It's
Just
a lidless eye.
I'm just saying. Imagine if that eye was just stationary, and you're walking towards Mount Doom. You know where Mount Doom is, but you're going
Uh,
there.
to
And
be
guess what's go on?
sorry, go on.
No, you go on.
To be fair, I think it could have been easily mistaken for a giant marble.
It's an iris in the on a tower.
Yes.
All I'm saying is the thing is perched on a tower, it's pointing one direction. You don't want to look at that thing up there. You
It's
but at the
always
same
looking at you.
but at the same
How do
time,
you
while
think
it's
eyes
staring
maneuver?
one direction, you're wondering if it's looking at you.
No, but if it's looking for them, they're just standing there. It wouldn't make sense for they're walking. It's got to know that they're there.
I'm
Like you
just
said,
saying,
he
but
sees
that the
all. He sees
but what
all,
I'm
so he
saying
would
is
see
you
them.
wouldn't know. That's my point. You wouldn't know because it's staring. I'm saying if it's state. I'm saying the way how I was shot it, if it was just stationary, just stationary. You're going in one direction towards where Mount Doom is. Where is Mount Doom at? Right next to the tower. Look how far away it is. And you still have to go in that direction to where the tower is pointing in your direction. And you don't even know if that motherfucker looking at you.
It's an eye.
That's the point. It's an eye that's stationary, but you don't know if it's looking at you. You looking
Do you
at it,
think eyes don't maneuver?
it don't have to maneuver. It's imposing. You gotta think of the imposing look of it.
So you have a lidless eye just
It's
staring in one
always
direction.
watching.
You got to give
And
it
one
some life.
no, I don't need to
It's
give it,
Sauron's essence
Mm-hmm.
but
in that tower.
it's
It's literally his.
stationary. Keep it stationary, and
The only
and
thing that's stationary is the tower.
you're talking to somebody who looks at eyes and art pieces for a long time, and you
And do
can
you think eyes don't maneuver even when you read comics?
even if it's still, you you never know if it's moving or not. Your brain. I'm saying stimulate the brain. Stimulate the brain. Final. Make the brain wonder. Is what I'm saying. You just looking at that thing from far away while you trying to trick the Mount Doom. Now, yeah, the mystique will melt away the moment you get to the side of the tower. But at the same time, you wonder if it might turn and look at you.
It
Think about
always
that.
is.
But what I'm saying is, you don't know if it's not moving.
You do.
It is because it's an eye. How do you
it.
think eyes maneuver? Like, watch this. Watch this.
Oh, here we go.
Like,
Oh
just
my
look at my eyes.
goodness.
Look at my eye.
He just don't. He's not seeing what. The thing is, Final
No,
does not see what he's not seeing what I'm seeing. He's not seeing what I'm imagining. The oppressive nature of a still eye just pointing one direction while you're trying to hide from it and still moving, but you're checking to see if it's looking at you. Okay, it's not looking at me. Keep going. Is it looking at me? It's not looking at me. Keep going. Is it looking at me? No, it's not looking at
Okay,
me.
we're
Keep.
spending way too much talking about Sauron's eye.
All I'm saying is, when that motherfucker was turning, I was like, yeah, no. Why? Look, Jackson, I love you. I love the way how you visualize it, but you keep unepicing them every
It's an
single
eye!
time.
I had no issue with the eye, but obviously Wolf had an issue that the eye
I liked
moved.
it better when it was stationary and just staring very oppressively.
at, at nothing.
Like,
Kind of.
remember the introduction of the two towers in the second movie with Saruman's monologue,
Hmm.
and it just goes right to Sauron's eye, and you see it right there in the freaking horns. You just hear the all that stuff. That that part just got struck fear into my heart. Even if it was shown in the angle, I was like, that thing could possibly look at me. It can possibly look at me at
Well,
any given moment.
Frodo has already seen that eye up close.
I'm
He's
just
already
saying, like
seen it.
even if it was on that tower, like it was on that tower and it was shown in an angle, I'm like, that thing could turn and look at me, but it's not going to do that. But it makes me wonder if it will.
And
See
it
that?
did.
And I hated it. Don't give me that. Don't give me that visual. Give me the impression that it would. Don't confirm it to me visually. And I hate that. I hate that it turned into a straight up spotlight. I was
Because
like,
that's what it
no,
is. It's an eye.
I don't like that. I
It,
don't
no,
like I don't like that it moves. I want the illusion that it might move. I want to we think alike. We think alike. Sorry, no, we think differently. We think very differently. Cuz he like I said, Final does not see what he's not seeing what he's not I'm not expressing it well enough to really give him the idea of what I'm trying to say. The fear. The fear and the thought where your imagination start racing.
I see what you're saying. The fear that you don't know if the eye is looking at me or not. But in this case, I didn't
But
have
you
a
also don't
problem as
want
they
it to
got
look at
close.
you.
As they got
Yeah,
But as you
closer,
keep
you don't know if
moving,
it's looking at you when you're hiding.
and you also
yeah.
going to peek your head out to see if it's moving. But if it's not moving, like yeah, keep going. But you're gonna keep checking. You're gonna keep checking. But it's not.
I'm
But
sure
that's what
they were
that's what.
checking
But that's where.
because if it
But I'm
was looking
saying
their
that's
way,
where the
they would
fear
hide.
sets in. I'm saying that's where the fear sets into you. You don't know. That's the beauty. That's the beauty of what I want to see in something so fiercely horrifying and oppressive. Is that you don't know. The fear of the unknown. The fear of the unknowable.
Well, well, we see now Wolf was not crazy about the eye moving in the in the
I just
film. For the
like I said,
that's
when it starts,
Because apparently he thinks the human eye doesn't even move.
I didn't say
yes.
it didn't move. I said I didn't want it to
I meant the
move.
human eye.
Not talking about the human eye. I'm talking about Sauron's lidless eye did not need to move.
So you wanted to
Otherwise, it
just
just looks
stare
goofy.
for the whole movie. You just stare straight out into
Yeah,
outer
I
space.
want it to be a fucking neon light if it had to be. Don't turn it to a damn spotlight.
It didn't.
It just looks cartoony.
It,
Give me the presence of give me the presence of it could possibly looking at them. Like Samwise stopped saying, Frodo, you think he could see us? And Frodo would be like, Sam, it could be seeing us and it wouldn't matter. We just need to keep moving.
well, I got that feel from that. I got that feel from that.
It's that dread is what I'm saying. It's that
Oh,
dread. Like think about it. His gaze pierces through earth, earth, sky, and flesh.
well,
Give
the
me that
closer.
give me that symbolic oppression. That's what Saruman sold me on. It's like he does
Oh,
like the eye doesn't need to turn. It just knows that it can see through the eyes of other fell beings,
Well,
or
actually, if
even
they
the
would.
or even the earth of Mordor itself. Like a rock could be looking at you, and Sauron can see you from there. As ridiculous as that sounds, it sounds scary enough. Like you do not want to set foot in Mordor at
Well,
all.
Boromir already said at the beginning, one does not enter Mordor. Live the smell it
I'm
breathes.
trying to look for a damn good
He,
representation of Sauron's eye, and Bing is fucking it up.
well, other than the moving eye that took Wolf out of the picture, I like the way this film was set up because this is now the war. So we've known our characters, we've developed them, and
I
now we're
just think
being
that
built up to the great
to
fight.
put to like put a close to it, I just think that they made it too fast when it looks. Like it was just looking too fast. Like the movement was just too off to me.
But I did like the giant elephants that were. It just shows you that the elephants that they used to
Before that,
enter
like
Minas Tirith.
freaking Mia's Tirith was just getting his ass whooped. I was like, man,
Minas.
freaking Rohan did a better fight than you motherfuckers did.
Now I don't mind. That's a good shot of his eye and Mount Doom right behind it.
I'm
I
just saying,
think
just
that
think
works
about that
well.
not moving at all,
I
and you're
don't
just
have a problem
trekking.
with it moving just a little. I don't think it moved a lot. It didn't move left, right, up and
It
down,
moved too much.
cross-eyed.
It moved too much like a spotlight, like it was just like whoop 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 whoop. Whoop. I was like, that's too damn fast for it to be moving like that. Please stop making it move. I like it. I like it better when it didn't move. I like it better if it just you just looking at it and not wonder and just wondering if it does move. You get what I'm saying?
I get what you're saying.
It's the
I get what you're saying.
it's the like I said, it's supposed to be something that should linger at the back of your head while you're trekking through Mordor. Y'all get what I'm
I
saying now? Finally,
I I get what
Mhm.
you're saying. It didn't take me out the movie as it did you, but I understand what
no, it
you're
didn't take me
saying.
out the movie. It's just I was like, man, that just ruins the image of that eye for me. I liked it better when it didn't move.
It just stared.
Yeah, cause why should it move when Saruman described what the eye can do? It pierces through sky, earth, and flesh. So why would it need to move? Like even if it
Because
sends the
he
ring,
was an elf once.
he ain't getting what I'm saying.
Well, I get what you're saying.
Funny enough, that pupil was actually his body right there, which was so dumb in the Hobbit. I was like, oh my goodness, why'd you put a bot? It's like thanks to the Hobbit, now I can envision the body being the pupil. I did not need that image. But like I said, the Return of the King is my least favorite. It got better over many rewatches though. I will
Well,
say that.
it gave good story. It gave Eowyn a very good storyline and what her fate
That
was
was
to
much needed
be.
anyway. So
And
it
also,
was yeah. Go ahead.
no, I was going to say it confronted her when she expressed her feelings for Aragorn, but Aragorn, I like the way Aragorn let her down. He didn't let her down, but he had to tell her that he didn't let her down, but he told her the truth that he couldn't give her what she seeked because we know he was heavily in love with
Actually,
with
to put an end to the whole eye
Arwen.
thing,
Okay.
it was not as goofy as freaking Pippin holding that damn Palantir, and you got the fucking eye
Oh
just in the damn Palantir, and he just wriggling around like it's hot potato, and you got the freaking Mordor theme playing in the background. I was like, no, 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 no. As serious as they try to make this shit looks too damn goofy. It looks too damn
God.
goofy. Just holding that thing, wiggling around, and Sauron's eye just looking dead at me while he's doing this shit. I'm like, mm-mm,
It was
ain't
supposed
working.
to show how
It's making me
powerful the
laugh.
gaze of Sauron
This shit is
was.
making me like, no, it's just
Uh,
no. I'd rather he just held the damn thing and damn I was looking back at his ass, not it catching fire and look like he trying. Motherfucker, just let it go. If it's burning your hands, Cause it looked. That's what it looked like it was doing. Burn your hand. Let it go.
Mm-hmm.
I read he just hold it and he was just entranced by it. They're trying to get it off of him, but he couldn't let it go. You know,
Mm-hmm. I get.
that's what it should have been, or at least his mind, you know, pierced right into the Pelotor and pierces back to him, and he just looking at it the way how Frodo was looking back at the eye when he put the ring on, and then he sees what was going to happen at Minas Tirith, what's going to happen to all his friends. Just keep that prophetic doom going. You know, like when Frodo dips his face into that fucking piss drink,
Oh my goodness gracious.
seeing the Shire get raided by
That
the
was Galadriel's mirror.
yeah, getting raided by the orcs and all them.
Yes, she was showing him
Had
what
that
would happen
just
if he.
I don't know. It's like Peter Jackson kind of forego some styles that I was liking in the first two films. The foreboding doom, the foreboding image. It's like
I
he
just
told
think,
Wells just to get silly with it. I don't understand.
like you were in
I don't
love with the
understand.
darkness and the foreboding. I think you love you love the darkness and
The suggest
foreboding. You would just
the
say,
suggestive darkness was really selling me throughout these whole two movies, and the third one just kind of pulls that out of it. It's like I don't understand. At least the Wish King made up for it.
yes,
The
that was
Wish
a good.
King made up for it because at least he kept that forebodingness going. Who liked the Wish King, by the way?
I like the Witch King. I like the Witch King. I like the way all that was set up. Yes, that foreboding. I like the Witch King,
You
and I.
fool! No man can hurt me.
But I like the way Eowyn fought it because, yeah, she stepped up to it, but you could still see the fear and shock in her. She's brave, but you, it's not. She isn't all
I
powerful
am no
female.
man.
Yep.
She. You
In
can
fact,
see.
she's witnessed it too, where people tried to attack it from behind. One person tried to attack it from behind by backstabbing it with the sword, but it just disappears. But then it hurts it back with his hand. His hand is now in pain.
Yes, exactly. But also, you got to see she saw that thing kill her father. You got you. That's what motivates her when
Uncle.
uncle. Excuse me. Her uncle is, excuse me, her uncle. He was father like to me, but it's her uncle, and he attacks
Hmm.
him, and you see the shock on her, but she takes it on. But I like the fact that the she's brave, but you can see the fear there of this thing. Is that
Yeah,
I
I'm
just
gonna
love
take
the
this
way
thing
she
on.
saw
how
what it could do,
Yeah, yeah, she saw what it can do.
in
and
the
the only
book
place
the
where
way
she
I just on final.
and
Right,
the
you go
only
ahead.
place where she had to aim it in order to finish it off, the mouth,
Yeah,
right in the mouth.
yeah,
Well, the thing
great.
is, I will say the scene that was in the book where Theoden's horse would not go no further, and he was getting spooked by something. They portrayed it really well in the movie.
Yes, they did.
That
They
lingering
did.
doom that engulfs over him, and then you see the
Yes,
aftermath. Oh my goodness, when the thing just tosses the horde to the side, and he's
yes.
about to ready to
Mm-hmm.
finish off Theoden. Feast on his flesh.
Mm-hmm. Yes. Yes,
You
that
will
was build the
not
build.
take him. Go on, Leia.
No, I was going to interrupt you. I was just going to give you the build up of that with Theoden was built up very well. I like the way that was played out. Like you said, yes, they
Even
built
before
that
then,
up.
he confronted Gandalf
The
before
the Witch King.
yeah.
Yeah.
But of course, the stand up performance was Theoden, where he makes that grandiose speech when Rohan arrives in the dawn, as always, like they did in Helm's Deep. The Rohirrim arrives on that hill, Pelennor Fields.
That's a great speech. It is. I do. It's a great speech. Like it's got some great moments. I'm glad Peter Jackson took time before we got into the battle for them to make that speech. Both of them, and then later on, Aragorn uh, makes his speech when he accepts himself as king.
Mm-hmm.
He makes his speech. But I like the fact that he allowed, but Theoden does give a rousing, strong speech as a leader into this
Tapping his
battle.
sword against those spears.
Yeah.
Just like, man, that's why I love. That's why I love Rohan. Fuck Gundor. Fuck Gun. Man, fuck Gundor. It's all about Rohan. The motherfuckers worship death.
But that was a
Motherfuckers
good scene.
shouting death. Everybody death, death, death. I was like, yeah, I'm
Alright.
ready my fucking fist up in the air shouting death too at the screen.
Alright. There's one last casting choice in this. Now that we're here in this film, one last perfect casting choice. John Noble as Denethor.
Fuck that
Yes.
guy.
But that's a good. That's the point. But he
I love
both
to
these
hate him.
niggas.
That's
That's
why
the
I
whole
said fuck
point.
that guy.
You're supposed to hate. Oh
Fucking
yeah.
coward. Fucking weak man. One of your kids dead.
Oh God. Well, his Boromir's brother, the other was desperately trying. That was sad. He was just trying to win. He was cruel to him. It's like, you're not
Yeah,
Bromir, so go away. And he was desperately doing these,
the
going and
unfavorite.
the foolish thing. Yeah, yeah, he was. He desperately wanted. He asked him, "Would you be rather it was me dead than him?" You
Yes,
know, yeah, and
motherfucker
just
just
tells him,
said yes.
mm-hmm, "Would you rather be me dead than him?" And he goes off and leads this group. And Gandalf warns him, "Don't do this. This is foolish. Your father loves you. You don't have to prove it." And that's what led him to go out there because he wants to prove so desperately that he is brave as. That's great artwork of the Witch King. That is. That's a good. That's some good artwork. I like that. That's a good artwork of the Witch King. And then he tries to burn himself and him at the same
Yeah, fuck that
time.
guy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well.
In the books, Denethor actually did not die while running 100 meters while he's on fire.
We all know that.
We know
We all
that.
know.
Yes. We know that. And when they first meet him, I love how Gandalf's he's so nervous about Pippin. He said, "Now listen, don't make this speech. Don't say this. Don't. You know what? In fact, Pippin, just don't say nothing. just don't say. Just don't say nothing. You won't bring this up. You know what, Pippin? Just don't say nothing. Just be quiet."
And what does he do?
He opens his big mouth. Yeah.
Uh, that one time that actually saves them.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
That kind of helps them. Like he told, I gotta credit where credit's due to Pippin. He actually told the truth of what happened to Boromir,
Mm-hmm.
and
No, I don't.
it kind of gave him a bit of a sort of what would you call favor,
Redemption. Oh,
prestige.
yes.
Then he has that nice sombering song he sung.
Mm-hmm. Well, his son army is being overpowered and overwhelmed, and they are. They are. The army is completely wiped
Out
out.
man,
Yes.
outgunned and everything.
Yeah,
That was
outmanned.
a horrifying scene to watch, especially. Kudos to Pippin's actor for singing that. That was really him.
Oh yeah. Yes, it was. It was really him. And then the horror of it is that when they go out there, they fling their decapitated heads back at them.
Let's
The ones that they had killed
release
when
the
they were.
prisoners.
Yeah. Yeah.
Just psychological horror.
Yes. And to
Nothing
little
but
kids,
psychological horror.
not to some little kids, that could be frightening. Yeah. For us as
That
grown,
creeped
it's like,
me out, and I was a teenager then,
oh yeah,
attending
it
high
is.
school.
It is
Yeah,
frightening.
that scene was pretty haunting.
I didn't think he. I did not think Peter Jackson would go that far. I didn't. I didn't think the man had it in him. Like Jesus, Peter Jackson, you went all out for this until we got to the eye scene. God damn.
Oh, get
Sorry
over
about you,
it.
Kelly.
Okay, you're over the
I
ice.
agree to disagree about the eye.
Mm-hmm. We have some other great moments. I will say this about Return of the King. Despite what you think are flaws, this is how you end a
I call it a
trilogy.
nitpick. I call
Mm-hmm.
them nitpicks. I'll admit that they're nitpicks. You don't have to
But the
like the same. You don't have to agree with some of the things I disagree with.
But this is like the only movie I know recently that ends its trilogy right. This is
Mm,
how you end a trilogy. This, despite it's done.
With having so many fucking endings.
really
Well,
now,
I
the
mean,
one thing we will disagree with, it's the first freaking movie to have a freaking epilogue, and y'all want to bitch about that.
I sat through the whole epilogue. I told you, I said
I mean,
myself, I was the last one.
that was just a joke.
I know.
Them people wanted to clean the theater, like, this lady's still sitting in her seat. I sat myself right there to the very end. No
Like
lie, to the very
motherfucker,
end.
it's a goddamn epilogue. Damn it, 2 for 2.
No, what I'm saying, compared to other
I'm trying,
movies,
my bachelor. I'm trying.
I'm
You
just
know it's a
saying.
go on, go on.
I'm just I'm just compared
He's
to
gonna
other.
have a he's gonna have a counter from the many times you said that.
Yes,
Mm,
compared to other endings, Endgame, that don't know how to end in movies. This one ended. This is how you end. The 3 hours or close to 3 hours was well spent on everything. It was all about the battle. I love when Aragorn goes to rise the dead army, and he commands the dead army to help them because they're outnumbered.
what
And then
say you?
Elrond, yes, Elrond comes to him and tell him how he can raise this dead. You're the king. Be the king you're born to be. And you go, and he brings in that,
Oh
yeah,
yes,
that
the
dead army.
scene where he brings out the sword, reforged
Yes.
now.
hmm And he tells them, you know what? It's time. You're no longer the ranger, Aragorn. You're no longer the ranger. You are the king of. You're the king that you were meant to be. So it's time to rise up and be that. No more being the ranger. You got to accept. You've got to accept your fate. You're not Jon Snow. I don't want it. I don't want it. Aragorn. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. That's my
Focus,
nitpick.
Leia.
Okay. I'm sorry, Game of Thrones fans, but this is a man
Hey, don't be
that.
sorry for them. Fuck them.
Okay.
Yeah.
They had their chance.
this was this. You don't hear Aragorn say that. Aragorn accepts that sword and his fate and his title, and he goes off to battle. And one of the first things he does is he commands um the dead army,
This
and I
motherfucker
like that.
singing all random shit up in the damn chats.
Aragorn goes from being a warrior to the king.
Yes, and I love it. I
Relinquish the
absolutely love it.
what was it? What did Elrond say?
Relinquish the
Forsake the
ranger. Oh,
forsake the ranger, become the king you were meant to be.
love it. Love that line. Yes, love that scene. Yeah, and he accepts it. There is no doubt. There is no, oh, I'll think about it, or I don't know if I should be king. He
Yeah,
boldly accepts it. Go ahead, final.
because he was already much more shameful because of his own lineage, because of the Sildor from what happened, right?
Right. Yes. Yes. Because of
Because
Zildor's fate.
he was afraid that he's gonna be just like a Sildor because of what
Yep.
happened with him and the ring. But then he already lets Frodo take that and thinks that you know what that now
Yeah.
he's already at peace with it.
Yes. Exactly. That was what was holding him back. Like you said, final. He was afraid he would fail like Isildur did, and he was afraid that was going to happen to him.
You know, give
But
me a drink. Give me a drink.
but now he's yeah, like you said, he's made peace with that fact, and he goes forth,
Yeah, because
to
like
accept his
Arwen
title.
said, like even though you are of his lineage, but you are not gonna be much like Isildur. Like, but his
Thank you.
blood flows through mine. But like you aren't fated to become exactly what your ancestors were.
And that is a life lesson. Wolf gave us earlier. This is when he talked about children. This is a life lesson for all of us. Maybe we have a parent or a relative or a parent that has done something. We love our parent, but maybe they have done something, or they've done something that we're not proud of, and we're scared. What if I make the same mistake? It's not necessarily your fate. That was their fate, but it's not your fate. So you don't have to run and
The biggest
hide
of
from
Maris
it.
Tirith. The biggest are Lith. Gundar calls for aid, and Rohan will answer. Muster the Rohirrim. Assemble the army of oh, wow, how you pronounce that? Dunharrow. As many men as can be found. You have 2 days. On the third, we ride for Gondor and war. That's men talking, damn it.
Yes, I would agree.
Be still, children. Men are talking, and you
Exactly.
will follow.
That I agree with. And again, I would say,
Man, I'm telling you right now, they're Aragorn's my top favorite, but damn it, Theoden almost dethroned him.
in this movie or
Both
overall?
movies,
Oh,
both
Two
movies.
Towers. Oh,
Yeah, both movies. Theoden almost dethroned Aragorn from top favorite Lord of the Rings character.
don't laugh. You have your face. Yeah, it's
I'm
okay.
chuckling because I'm reliving that moment. It's like damn Theoden, you bad man. And just a moment ago, you were just like old, decrepit, and tired. But when they got that spell on you, man, I see why your men die for you. I see why your men be dying for you. You bad.
That's the kind of king we don't have in movies. A manhood we do not have movies anymore.
Like this,
It's
like
not.
this. Prime example. Ymir, take your arrow down to the left flank. Gamling, follow the king's banner down to the center. Grimbold, take your company right. After you pass the wall. Forth, and fear no darkness. Arise! Arise, rise, O Theoden! Spears shall be shaken. Shields shall be splintered. A sword day. A red day. Ere the sun rises. Whatever happens, stay with me. I'll look after you. Ride now! Ride now! Ride to ruin and the world's ending! Death! And everybody just ringing death.
Yes.
Fort Illegas! And they shooting their arrows. You see one or
Hmm.
two falling down. They still riding. Shoot one, another one falls. They still riding. Crash through
Yes.
that friggin' phalanx. They still riding. Elephants come in. These motherfuckers still riding. I was like, fuck Gondor. It's all about Rohan. Look, I'll give Gondor 1 point for the damn catapults that they flinged when Gandalf took over. That's
Hmm.
only because Gandalf took over.
Yes. Yes.
Prepare for battle. Dun 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 dun. Man, I done took over this damn conversation. What's some other standout things that in this movie before we start wrapping up? You got start with you, Donna. You ain't said shit throughout this whole thing.
Oh my goodness gracious! Is he there?
Did I kill him?
Oh my god!
Is he staging a mutiny?
I guess we ran him away.
Dom, are you asleep? It is kind of getting late.
Yeah, we'll
Hmm.
have to. Yes, we need to. Yeah, we need to wrap it up.
It's past my bedtime too. It's supposed to
Yes,
be
I don't want.
be
Me
in
too. I
bed
don't
by
want to hold anybody
11:30.
up.
Dom, wake up!
I'm still here.
What are your thoughts and feelings on Return of the King? Anything that stands out to you about the last entry of this trilogy?
Since it is getting close to midnight, I'm just gonna keep it short.
Mm-hmm.
One heck of a finale.
Mm-hmm.
Enough said.
Wolf, anybody else?
Humble.
My favorite part of the ending was when they showed Bilbo Baggins, and he decided he was gonna go adventure where the elves are.
Mm-hmm. Along with Frodo.
Mm-hmm.
Hmm.
Which is if nobody doesn't really know about it, but they're going to heaven.
Mm-hmm.
That's a lot of people interpret it as, yes. A lot of
The Undying Lands.
Yes, that's what a lot of
Because
people.
because Frodo had to bear so much of the ring because now the ring is destroyed. But then the burden is lifted, but left a deep psychological scar because so much has changed. So now he's just gonna go there just so he could be at peace once more. along
Mm-hmm.
with Gandalf, Galadriel, and Elrond, and there's someone else I forgot. Because there were
Uh,
three
uh,
elves there.
Elron,
Yeah, Elrond, Galadriel, and who else?
her husband, Indo. I forgot his name. Indo. I forgot his name.
Celebor.
Yeah,
Lone rogue
Celebor.
guy.
Yeah.
Right.
And yeah, I cried at that scene. I did. He had to say goodbye. That is appropriate goodbye. It did. I did get a little teary eyed. I don't know if Wolf did. Anybody get teary eyed when, especially with Sam, when he told them that he was leaving
I
the
cried when
other
he got
Hobbit.
married.
Oh, okay.
I cried when he got married. When I saw him and old girl get together, and you see them smiling, and she's smiling
Hmm.
back at him, and he's smiling back at her, and you got that whole wedding. I'm like, oh my goodness, Sam, you the man.
Yeah,
He
yeah. In
especially
fact,
when
Sam
he
is
fought
pretty much my
Shelob,
favorite Lord of the Rings character.
especially when he fought Shelob. Oh my goodness, I was like Smokey throughout that whole fight. Kick his ass, Sam. Kick her ass. Sam. Kill Sam. Come on, Sam. Sam. Whoop her ass.
Well, a
That's
lot of
my
people
dog.
they were cheering when he came back to fight Sheba, the giant spider. Yeah,
Yeah,
everybody.
Shelob the Great.
Sheila, yeah,
Oh
everybody in
goodness.
the
That.
theater called it when he returned. Yeah.
Oh man. Can we talk for a moment about Shelob?
Did anybody get creeped out? That creeped
Scary.
me the devil.
Yes.
That creeped me the
That bitch
devil
Especially the
didn't
out.
scene where
talk.
Frodo was
Ooh.
starting to foam up at the mouth when he eventually got captured. Just ugh.
Got
Ah,
stung.
Made
yeah,
me
it
Oh,
kind of
paralyzed.
nostalgic about the giant spider scene in The Hobbit.
what you say? What you say, Humble?
Made me a bit nostalgic for the spider scene in The Hobbit.
Stick him again. Stick him again.
Oh, and then he's paralyzed, and then she starts to wrap him up in the webbing. I'm like, oh my god, man, don't do that, man. That's my nightmare. I had nightmares about giant
Ah,
spiders
it
in jump.
stings. Ah. Ooh, excuse me.
Oh, that
I can't do
spider
creepy
just
voices
creeped me out.
anymore.
Oh, yes, that spider was creepo. Like that ain't funny, Peter Jackson. People have nightmares about that.
Not me. It's the only
Oh,
giant spider that didn't scare the fuck out of me.
oh, okay. Good for you. Final, do you have any thoughts on the finale of this trilogy? Trilogy.
Wow. What an ending.
I absolutely my thoughts is exactly the same because we got to wrap it up, so I'll keep it short. Again, I don't know any movie that closed. That is how you close out a trilogy. What an ending! Every single way, everything about it was how you close out, even to the very end. Again, end game. This is how you close out. You wrap up your stories with your characters. And I still feel Viggo Mortensen was so robbed of some sort of Oscar, Golden Globe, I don't know, for that performance as
Ever since
Aragorn.
this trilogy, me and my brother always referred to him as Aragorn
He was
before
Aragorn.
before I learned his real name.
Yeah.
And
From
ever
his
since then, I
body,
call him Vigo.
yeah, his body language, it just, and I think somebody said that. I think on the set, it was rumored they started calling him Aragorn. He was so into it. And it
Yeah, because
shows.
he is Aragorn.
Yeah. Yeah. He really embodied Aragorn. I will never forget his
Excuse me for
performance.
drinking.
Oh,
I got
I'll never.
lemonade.
That's
I
okay.
think he's gay in real life.
No, he has a wife. That man got 3 or 4, 5 kids. They grown, but they.
Who am I
That's
thinking
all they
about
do.
then?
You think about somebody else.
I probably
The
am.
model they used for the Magic of the Gathering Aragorn?
Oh, I don't
No,
know
not
about
that
that.
imposter. I think you're talking about Thranduil, the actor who plays Thranduil.
Lee Pace? Maybe.
Yes. Yeah, I think it's what you're talking about.
Is Lee Pace gay?
Yes.
No, I'm not thinking about Lee Pace.
Okay.
Maybe I was probably thinking about Sam Worthington.
He's
Is
not
he gay?
in. He's Sam Worthington is not in Lord of the Rings.
I know he's not, but I was like
Oh.
like I know some. There was an actor I was thinking about that I never thought was gay until somebody told me he was gay.
Hmm.
I think it was Sam Worthington.
No. But
And I probably got him confused with Vigo. And that's probably because of the damn Stepford Wives remake. Because
yeah.
one of the characters was a gay guy, and apparently he had a thing for Vigo. And I was like, oh, is Vigo gay
Oh,
then?
good Lord. No, he goes. I also
I
say that the
I
12
wouldn't mind if
Oscars.
he was. I wouldn't mind if he would. But what I'm saying is, I thought he was gay. Just
Oh,
saying.
no, he's been married twice, and I think he has 3 kids that are fully grown.
What's funny about Vigo being Aragorn, I didn't even know who Vigo was back then, and didn't even know he was in G.I. Jane of all movies.
Me neither. I was the same way.
Up
I
I
until Lord
love
of the Rings.
G.I. Jane.
Well, we're not friends then. Kidding, kidding.
I didn't know he until I saw him in other films. I'm like, ain't that the dude that's Aragorn? And then he's been
Yeah,
wow, he's been in a lot of movies.
way before you got to this movie. Way before you got to this movie. But what I'm saying is, did not know that was him until I recognized his face as Aragorn.
Hmm. Same way.
Uh,
The 12 Oscars this movie won were well deserved. It was well deserved. It was long overdue, but it was well deserved. I think this film just
Thing
absolutely.
is, would you look at Viggo Mortensen the same way after History of Violence and The Road?
Not really.
I didn't see The Road.
But you have seen A History of Violence,
I
have
saw
you?
a History of Violence. Yeah, I sat through it.
That was raw. I loved
Yeah,
it.
yes, a lot of people like that film.
Jesus, that scene with him and his wife was just skin crawling.
Yes,
You know what I'm talking about.
I do. I do. I do. It's not my thing, but I can see why you responded the way you did. I can see
No,
that.
it just creeped me out how his wife got into it. Like, oh wow, just yeesh. And that ending was perfect. But we'll talk about History of Violence one of these days.
Yes, we're still in Aragorn mode.
You guys need to pirate that shit. I ain't find shit for y'all.
Okay.
See, why can't y'all be like humble?
Well, it's great that we're all our
Why
personalities are
can't you
different.
be like that magnificent stallion humble?
Because
From
I'm
now on,
just not
humble.
as absent-minded as she is.
From now on, humble, you are humble bombastic. Anyways, final thoughts on the trilogy as a whole, not just individual movies.
Who do you want to start? Do you
Lost
want to just
Trilogy, they are amazing. If you haven't seen them yet, go watch them. At least if you want to watch the movies, watch the theatrical versions first. But unless if you really want to
No,
sit
nope,
through
nope, 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 nope.
what's
The
wrong with it?
theatricals are irrelevant. Everybody will tell you watch the
the extended cut,
The
yes, the
extended
extended.
cut?
which you can actually watch them on the Blu-ray releases of the movies.
Mm-hmm. Because
Yes.
ain't I'm telling you right now, you can find the theatrical cuts, but you're at this point you're wasting your time. Don't be a bitch. Watch 3 hours of those fucking movies. It's
I
too
love
late to
them.
it's too late for you to be finding the damn theatricals. They're irrelevant. The only way to watch the Lord of the Rings is the extended now. There except no substitute. Are we in agreement, everybody?
Yes, yes, yes. I love the extended cut.
Courts adjourned.
Final, did
Like,
you
go ahead,
finish?
final.
Mhm.
Finish it off.
Screw you, Wolf.
Oh God! Oh, oh.
uh, I hate that.
Why do
I
I
hate.
hang out with you guys anyway?
That's sad that our relationship deteriorated like that. Screw you, Wolf. Hooray for me. But yeah. Uh, Dom, final thoughts on the trilogy as a whole?
well, well, as mentioned in the beginning of the stream, this is the gold standard of how to handle a book series.
We'll be talking about our best and worst book adaptations pretty soon. To really emphasize the gold standard, why it's the gold standard. Are y'all good with that?
Sure.
Yeah.
We'll do it
Sure.
in the fall.
Sure, no problem.
We'll do it in
Mm-hmm.
the fall because it because remember in the fall is usually the book adaptations opening days in the fall. Remember that, right? Y'all do notice that, right?
Yes.
That
Yeah, I
every
noticed it
fall
too.
season, there's always a book adaptation releasing, and that was like kind of like the age of the teen drama types that were releasing in those in that bracket,
Mm-hmm.
unless it was a summer type and it was released in the summer among the fast movies and all the other action movies. But we'll talk about our best and worst adaptations, or our guilty pleasures, or moderate favorites, because I have a few. Humble thoughts on
Hmm?
the trilogy as a whole. Oh, you woke up. Okay.
Thoughts on the trilogy as a whole? I liked it. It's pretty good. It uh, far cry different than the other stories I have seen out of book to movie adaptations.
Hmm. Oh, you were done. Okay. For me, I watch these movies. Like I said, if I had to do a marathon, I have to have the mind for it because they are that long. I probably have to like pick a day and watch the first movie and pick the next day to watch the second movie. I will say the second movie was like my most watched out of the three. It's usually sometimes it's usually the second movie of a trilogy that's my favorite that I watch the most. Surprisingly, Clone Wars, the Attack of the Clones, kind of got bumped off that list in trilogies like that, so to speak. But I digress. Yeah, yeah. The second movie was like my favorite because of one reason alone. That Balrog fight. Are y'all alive? Did I kill y'all?
Yes.
Yeah, I'm
No,
alive.
I'm listening to you. I'm waiting. Yeah. I'm like,
Oh,
please
okay,
talk.
okay.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I tend to watch the Two Towers more often than not because of that Balrog fight, the opening Balrog fight, and of course Treebeard and the Ent fight, the Ents marching on Isengard.
Mm-hmm.
Still love that scene. Still love that scene where the Ents just fuck their shit up. It was satisfying, even though I love Saruman. It was so satisfying to see him fall like that. It's it's one of those things where you have to think about like where the most unlikely thing to turn the tide of battle like that. Don't you agree?
Mm-hmm.
Same
Yep.
thing.
Agreed.
Same thing with the riders of Rohan rushing to Helm's Deep to save the king. To the king! Man, just they picked her Irvin and they chose well to be freaking Eomir. But that did I miss anybody?
I'm
Before
gonna be real quick. Because I know you're all tired with it. I just think it's one of the greatest trilogies ever in the history of motion pictures. One of the best trilogies to be adapted to film. It is a classic that stands the test of time. It's been 20 years, but I think it holds up the day that I saw it. And please, 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 for the love of God, do not watch that ridiculous Rings of Power. It does not reflect this trilogy.
Mm-mm.
So don't bother watching it. Don't watch it out of curiosity. Don't hate watch. Don't waste your time. If you want to watch something Lord of the Rings, do like Wolf said, watch the extended cut of these 3 films. You'll be fine.
Well, that about wraps it up. Thank you for joining us. Those four of you and those nonsense motherfuckers that keep popping in and out. Thank you everybody for listening while we were talking and ranting and arguing. Please join us again for our upcoming topical stream this Thursday. I'm not going to announce the title of it. You just got to wait till Thursday. It's going to be quite a challenge. And I'm very excited to see what's going to happen on that day. So we'll see what happens when we get there. But we will be talking about the queen of rock and roll. I believe I set up for this Saturday. I'll probably change it, subject to change. But this Saturday, me and the wife are going to see Transformers: Rise of the Machines, Rise of the Beast. Sorry, so we'll be going to check that out, and maybe I'll give my review of that.
Okay, well, we look
Oh,
forward to
y'all want
hearing
more?
from you. No, we look forward to hearing from you.
I'll tell you what's also on the horizon. We will be covering the final volume of Akira towards the end of this month, with our good friend Janelle coming back to join us this time around. Hopefully, we won't have to split it up. We probably will because that is a bloated book. The fuck you fighting?
My sword fell.
Jesus
Oh,
Christ. Are you Loki now? Are you Atreus?
It
Boy,
fell because
get your
physics are a
sword together.
thing.
Yeah, it's a thing, but apparently it's drunk tonight.
oh, poor
I'm
But
finally.
yeah,
talking your wage.
but yeah, we'll be finishing that up. I did say we're gonna cover Last Exile in July, so we'll be talking about that pretty soon.
On
Uh,
Independence Day, to be exact.
yeah, and we'll probably cover Appleseed finally. The first two movies, maybe Alpha, but we'll still be talking about Robot Carnival. I hope you guys watched it.
Yep.
Only Humble, so it'll probably be just me and her.
Sorry, it's been very, very. My schedule's been very, very tight. I will try
Final
to
and
get it
Dawn ain't got
in,
no excuse.
but I'm in serious, serious renovations here. I've got to
It's
spend a
okay.
lot of time.
No, you get the pass. These two motherfuckers
God.
can watch it while you're studying. You can watch it while you're writing. It could be just background noise for you. It's got good music. But please, check out Robot Carnival. It's pretty damn good for really good animation. Animated by very good, man. The pedigree for that film is astounding. So please check out Robot Carnival, and we'll be covering Tekken the Motion Picture equally to what we did with Street Fighter 2 the movie. Oh, you have watched it. Okay. What about you, Humble?
Still working my way through that one.
Oh, I understand your pain. It's decent. Anyways, so those are on the menu. On the horizon, we'll be covering Habane Renmei in the fall. I do believe I have something scheduled for August as well. Let me see what it is. Give me a sec, guys. Make sure I have all the bases covered. Nothing in August yet, but I do plan on something to be in August. But yeah. Oh yeah. We're probably gonna be doing some more movie trilogies pretty soon. I'm not sure which ones though. What What do you guys think? What other trilogy should we cover? Dom.
Hmm.
Well, potentially we can cover Back to the Future.
Oh,
Oh
I
yeah.
got that.
Yes.
Yeah, that
Yeah.
was at the top of my head actually. Now
Mm-hmm.
that you mention it, I'm not saying this hyperbole. That I was just thinking about that a couple of weeks ago actually. Yeah, you know what? Let's cover the Back to the Future trilogy in August.
Woo!
Is that your Doc Brown impression?
No.
That is happy final.
Yes.
Good. 'Cause,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, we'll talk. You know what? Yeah, August. Let's tackle Back to the Future trilogy, and maybe along with what other movies do you think we should check out or talk about? Another
Um,
trilogy.
trilogies.
Hmm.
Oh my God.
Well, let's see.
I
There's
think
there.
we did Star Wars, so we got that.
No, we did not.
Yeah, I mean
Well,
the
there's
original Star Wars.
No, we did not.
Oh well, put that on tape. Star Wars Empire Return of the Jedi.
Maybe. I'll think about it.
All right, we'll think about it. I'll take that.
It's like I always revisit my channel and see what all we've done. I'll tell you right now, we have not done Star Wars.
Okay, well,
We have not done Star Wars, Leia.
I would like to, but that's your
We will
call.
cover the Hobbit trilogy soon enough because we talked about
Yeah.
this one.
You
We'll
did
probably
mention
do
that.
that. We'll probably do that next year. Make it a semi-yearly thing. Keep it keep things fresh.
and we can also cover a book trilogy. After after going through Star Wars,
This
like
motherfucker.
be it the prequel trilogy as well as eventually the original trilogy, we can go over the real sequel trilogy, starting with Heir to the Empire.
Well, you gotta wait for me to order that shit.
I'm just throwing it out there as a suggestion.
I know. I know. I'm just letting you know. You gotta wait for me to order that shit because I ain't got those books. But yeah,
What do you think
we'll
about video game trilogies?
video game trilogies. We have yet to talk about video games. In fact, I will come up with a stream for us to talk about the potential rise of the video game boom, the video game movie boom,
Hmm.
because we are kind of seeing that happening.
Do true.
So
Yeah.
so far we have some successes with video game adaptations. Finally, yes, we
Well,
have some stinkers. That Welcome to Raccoon City movie is getting a sequel. Surprisingly,
why?
good question. But we also got the Death Island movie on the horizon as well. So that will be a, a preferable watch.
Well, we can also potentially cover comic book series.
I mean, I'm already
It's not.
covering that on my show, on my channel.
Let me
Yeah,
think
but
about that.
this time, with this, let's go over a comic book series that one of us have read, but the others haven't. And this, let's take for example, that we'll covering Rising Stars by JMS for Top Cow. Well, actually, no, it's not really a Top Cow, but it's more of an Image Comics. But still, so the best way to describe Rising Stars is it's heroes before heroes came to be.
Mm. Either way, let's sign you guys out now. Starting with the lovely lady of valor.
Good evening, everyone. This is Lev Plus Size, your lovely lady of valor, and thank you for joining us for our discussion of the Lord of the Rings trilogy. I hope you enjoyed the show and enthusiasm for it. If you do have suggestions of trilogies that you would like for us to rant about, you know how we are. Please leave it in the comments below. I'm sure Wolf will appreciate it. Thank you for coming, and you all have a good evening.
The f- mm, the Warrior of Light Final Fantasy Fan 12.
Color me flattered, Neo. But that about does it for this video. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you like what you saw, click like, subscribe, and share with your family and friends. And make sure you ring that notification bell. That way you get notified of our latest videos. Go subscribe to 10 Media if you haven't already. Go subscribe to me if you haven't already. And be sure you stay tuned on June 16th on my channel for episode 7 of Comic Studies. For talking about Superman for all seasons as celebration of Superman's 85th anniversary this year. And once again, thank you guys so much for watching. This is Final Fantasy Fan 12 signing off. And remember, may the light forever shine upon us.
The humblest of writers, Humble Marty.
Okay, I am Humble Marty. I am just a writer. Thank you for being here today, and have a nice day.
Even better than last time. Nice. The Hound of the South, Dominic Powell.
That's about done it. Hope you all have a good rest of your night, and thank you for joining us as we go over the Lord of the Rings trilogy. This is
Oh,
Hound
Jesus,
Cell
she's
Dominic
eating
Powell
now.
signing off, and remember to keep up the good fight and keeping hope, idealism, and optimism alive in the world.
This is your welcome at Wolf 10. Remind you guys, you are the UN Spacey. And remember this.
By my life or death, I can protect you. I will. You have my sword. And you have my bow.
And my axe.